Hello, beautiful people. We are
Yeah.
here and ready to be active with you and talk building dynasty teams. It is the last stream of the week, so keep that in mind. Okay, there will not be another stream beyond this one for this week. Obviously, we'll be live back tomorrow. Next week.
Back Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night.
But next week, I will be my last week streaming before I go on a holiday there. And I just thought maybe we should do a one stream on the redraft channel next week. Maybe we should do like our first stream on the redraft channel next week, which might be cool. Kind of let everybody draft together, if you will. But we're excited to be here with you. Today's stream is going to be completely dedicated towards building better dynasty teams together. We do have some spots right now. We have 3 playbooks in the queue. We have room to double that, so we have room for 6 more if you want to get a same day live team playbook. And y'all probably know this by now, but if you want to get a team playbook, then you can get one. Customized game plan for your offseason. Easiest way to get one of these bad boys is to become a promo code LAND, L-A-N-D, annual Mother Flocker member. That will give you a team review voucher, and you can use that through our Flock store to get a team review from Zach and Badaki with Fantasyland. Just make sure you slide that tier up to live if you want it done live. No pressure, obviously, if you want to just hang out as well. Just letting you guys know that there are 3 spots for a same-day review. We appreciate y'all for being here. What's up, Sean? What's up, Joshua?
How we feeling, y'all?
What's up, Macy? 98 days until kickoff. What is up, Styles? Scribbles, Bo, Dylan. Darth is here. One Pride is here. G is here. What is up, gang? What's up? Welcome in. We see you,
Hey, love
Shane.
y'all,
We
love.
see you, Joel. We appreciate y'all for being here with us. You know, just to start the stream, we're going to get into some team playbooks like we mentioned. That will be what today's stream is dedicated to. But we do have some trade questions on the Flock site. And the first one is from Sean. And Badaki can put a link in there if you guys want to submit a trade question today. We'll be very active with these. He says, looking to win now and need a running back upgrade. Is this worth it? I'd have no draft capital if I did this. So it looks like they would be sending away 2 firsts in 2026 for Saquon Barkley. The third doesn't really make a difference. And it looks like Sean kind of sent the same thing in the chat and asked the chat for help as well. But he says 226 firsts for Saquon or Addison.
I have no 27 capital. I'm trying to get a top tier running back to upgrade a wide receiver. What do I do? What's your team name on here, Sean?
I don't love the idea of the AJ Brown one, just because I think that could be something that you regret next year with people thinking about his age, as silly as that is. Just thinking dynasty markets. Saquon, I guess 2 firsts is kind of the max you would do.
I wonder if you can.
I'd be curious if there's
look,
like a little piece you could maybe add, like
you can add. Yeah, you said tram name should be the community. I think.
Like, can you?
Your team name is the community.
I'm
Right,
just
so
curious if you could potentially send away. Who's your tight end right now? Mark? Could you send away Mark for Kittle in that deal as well? That might make me feel a little bit better. If you could just grab Kittle over Mark long term. That gives you a little bit more security as you're contending. Kittle's probably going to have a massive year this year. Or could you send away, for example, a DeAndre Swift and ask back for who's a running back, like a Montgomery or something. You know what I mean? Like, is there a way that you can extend the deal where it slightly leans a little bit more in your favor? Obviously, Caleb Johnson or RJ Harvey would be the most ideal. I just don't think that's going to happen. But yeah. Appreciate you, Sean.
Yep,
what's up, Sonny?
you,
We
Sean.
see yours in the queue. We see your team playbook in the queue. And no, we haven't. We just started the stream, actually. So I appreciate all of y'all being here with you. We're just going to go through these trade questions on the site real quick and then jump into some team playbooks. Sonny, you're second on the live list. Crush is first, and then M. Reed is next. We do have 3 spots for a same-day review. But again, appreciate y'all for being here with us. Hit that like button to show some love. Bucky Irving Lover 7, you are in the right spot, my friend. You have found the right people to talk shop. 3-way trade. I would get Stafford as well, and it looks like he is sending away a first and 26, Goff, Marvin, And they are, I guess they're swapping future first, it sounds like, to get Puka and Stafford. So Puka, Stafford, or Goff or Marv?
Puka, Stafford. I guess the real question is, what's the other quarterback looking like? Is Jared Goff a third quarterback and you're just down tiering? So you have Caleb Williams, Justin Fields right now. I'm assuming this is you. No, you're getting...
I'm going to talk to our devs real fast, but just go ahead.
No, yeah, I get it, because the second team never shows, unfortunately. So Caleb, I'm assuming your team is, Bucky Irving Lover. Yeah, so Caleb, Jared Goff, and Justin Fields. And then you're going to be receiving... You're sending away Marvin Harrison Jr., who's not on your team currently, but you're going to be getting Puka Nacua, and this is a start 10. 3, 4, 5, 6. Look, I think this is an okay trade. I think Stafford is a big tier now, especially having Justin Fields. I think you're probably saying, okay, I have Justin Fields. If you're telling me you had a JJ McCarthy, if you're telling me you had a Trevor Lawrence, that would feel a little bit better. I wonder if you can swap Jared Goff for somebody else. No, he just has... I'm trying to find... yeah, he probably had... I wonder if you could do Justin Fields. Send him away and then add something else to that. Like, can you add something else to that and then send Justin Fields away? Obviously, you probably can't see that on my end, what I'm doing, but that's where I'm at personally. But I like Goff as well, you know? Like, I want to keep Jared Goff. I think that's why I'd rather send Justin Fields, because of the surrounding... I would rather keep Jared Goff because of the surroundings that he has around him.
Well, the tough part about this is I think we're all betting on Marvin to break out this year, right? So if Marvin does break out, then you sent to, first, whatever I assume the pick swap is not in your favor, and you've basically gone from Stafford to Goff, and that would be a clear loss. So I think the hesitancy is right now, it makes a lot of sense, but in a year from now, we could very easily look back on this and say, yeah, Stafford's retired, and you're missing out Goff, in more of his prime years. So I think that's the difficult part for me. I would probably lean towards just keeping what I have, as crazy as that sounds. But I know to interrupt. Just want to quickly say, but if you feel like this is your missing piece, I don't mind you doing that. But yes, go ahead. We do have Commander here, which is fantastic.
Yeah, Commander Berger, hey, I'm not sure if you saw yesterday, you were actually the winner of one of our giveaways, or of our giveaway last night.
Yes.
So please, if you can send us your Flock Fantasy username if you have one, and if not, please, you can even just make one for free, and we can even give you a voucher there. So send us a message on Discord.
Just use the code LAND when you sign up. Make sure you use the code LAND when you sign up for a free account.
Yeah, but if not, send us a message on Discord. My name is Badake, Badaki, and then you can just, I can get in contact with you. Just send me a message and let us know about that. He says I'm going to answer that shortly, but no worries. Appreciate you, man. Love.
All right, we've got another trade question here from Peculiarly94. Says, should I X Nico for value or buy an RB plus and compete? I'm guessing X means trade.
Trade Nico's for value.
It looks like
running back.
They would be sending away Nico Collins for 2 firsts and Xavier Worthy, which honestly is... I love Nico Collins, but I haven't seen someone pay that kind of price for him. This feels like the price you pay for like a Brian Thomas. Almost like I almost feel CeeDee Lamb prices to me.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just wonder if Worthy can be somebody else.
Well, what you could do is flip Worthy in the first into something else.
Sure. Like, for example, I see, like, would you do Lamb McConkey in the first instead of Xavier Worthy there?
Oh, yeah, big time.
So I think if you can try and do that, instead of getting the extra first, take out Xavier Worthy and take out one of those first, and then add Lamb McConkey. I think we would both like that.
Right, so you're saying it won't let me get rid of one first without getting rid of both of them, unfortunately. Oh, wait. Okay, here it is. Okay, so you're saying the counter you would want is to ask for Lad here instead.
Ask for Lad and then
instead
of
like
just
yeah,
exactly.
I like that better. But alternatively, we love Nico Collins. I mean, we've been pro Nico Collins for pretty much the entirety of the last 365 days. Actually, since the season, my bad. I was a little concerned about Diggs and Tank, but since the season began, he made it very clear that he was the guy there. He's very young. You know, honestly, he and CeeDee Lamb shouldn't be valued that differently. That's how good he can be. But just haven't seen anyone pay this kind of price, right? Certain names come with a higher price, and I don't think Nico is one of those names like a CD that you have to pay that for. But, you know, if you wanted to do this deal, and then you could flip, I mean, if you could flip Worthy and the first into something else, you know, if I look at my wide receiver rankings, you could just get an additional first. Like, could you flip Worthy and the first into a London after that, a Marvin? Yeah. Because then you're basically getting Marvin and a first, if you think about it in that way. So definitely a lot of flexibility with a trade like that. But let's get to our first trade team playbook, live team playbook of the day. All these ones here that you guys are seeing, from Q's to Josh to MRL, Phantoms, Mike's, Dristan's, these are all offline playbooks, and I am 100% doing those after the stream. I will write up a customized playbook for you guys myself, and appreciate you guys. Crush says, wanting to know how you think I should go about closing the gap between me and the top guy in this league. It is a 12-team start 10, and there is a full point premium. And also want to give a big shout out to Styles, by the way, in the chat. Been a member on the YouTube chat for 26 months. He says, never forget the Jordan Love art stream. If you know, you know.
That's a classic.
That is a classic. Gosh. I wonder if I can find that painting, because that was a work of art, really. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see, because if I just type my username and then Jordan Love. Okay, yeah, here we are. I found it. You'll never guess how long this took on that stream, by the way. Art takes time. I just want people to realize that. Art takes time, okay? So you might look at this and think, yeah, a 5-year-old did that in, what, 30 seconds? See, what you would be missing is the nuance of art. And that took, what was it, 2 hours to really build that masterpiece? And this was back in March of 2023. So it's only gained value. This was an NFTs were hot, right? It's only gained value since then. So now I think this is probably worth, it's just an investment piece for me. It's probably worth north of 100. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
just gonna keep letting it soak.
We can put that up for bid here. Just let us know, guys, if you want to bid on that, and we can get you all set up, send that to you right away.
Appreciate y'all for being here with us, by the way. Again, hit that like button to show some love, and let's jump into our first team playbook. Let's have a look at his team. Team name is
Dler.
Dler, I was going to say. I'm guessing that's it. Go ahead.
Yeah. And this is a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 10, which is a middle ground here for us. And let me just put this here in the chat there. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at this team. Currently ranked 2nd out of 12 as well. At the quarterback position here, you have Bo Nix, Baker Mayfield, Jackson Dart, and Tyler Shuck. I think this is a good quarterback room. Don't really have to do much there. Bucky Irving, R.J. Harvey, Bashul 2, and Tony Pollard, Jarquez, and the list goes on. I like this running back room. Personally, I think it's good depth there as well. Some guys that you can mix around there for sure. At the wide receiver position, you can start up to 5 wide receivers in a start 10. Brian Thomas, Nico, Ayuk, Jerry, Cortland Sutton are your starting 5 with Kyle Williams, Pat Bryant, Hollywood Brown, Cedric Tillman, all on that list as well, with Colston Loveland here. So, so far what I'm seeing right here, decent team. I don't mind some of these players that you guys have. Some untouchables, going straight into it. The only untouchable I see here personally is Brian Thomas Jr. I think maybe going into 2020. At the end of 2026, we could potentially be putting Bo Nix on it as an untouchable. That's what I'm believing for, because we're big believers here of Bo Nix holds. Names we like to hold is Brandon Ayuk. We also like to hold names like Kendre Miller. And then
there's so many holds that you could point to. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
Arroyo is a great
there is
one.
Elijah
Dart,
Arroyo. Yeah,
Dart,
exactly.
Dart is like the definition of a hold. You have so
And
many
Jackson
here.
Dart, yeah.
There's about 10 holds you could say, but
Jackson
drops.
Dart.
If you wanted to drop a name, you could maybe move on from like a Justice Hill, maybe a Vele. You don't have to necessarily.
Yeah, you
There's
don't
not
have
really
to,
anyone on the waiver wire that is screaming like. I probably prefer Maffa over Justice.
Ma!
Yeah. Or like Deontay Thornton or something. But I think it just comes down to personal preference. It's not really that.
Yeah, obviously you'll see Justice Hill and Devon Vele on that graphic, but I don't necessarily think you, like Zach said, you have to drop him there. What are you thinking for the pathway here? I mean,
I think you can contend with this team for sure because you have a nice mix of like veterans and young players, and the ceiling of your team comes down to how much these players can produce for you straight away, right? Hopefully, this is all the young players that you have. We're looking at a young core, one of the best young cores of all time, like the Oklahoma City Thunder. How about it, baby? In the NBA Finals, yes, I shed a tear yesterday. Yes, I don't talk about it on the stream because I don't want you guys to ruin it for me. If you guys don't know, most of the time we are streaming while the games are happening, and then I go watch it later as if it was live. But thrilled to see
that's not me.
My team finally in the NBA
great.
Finals again.
And I'm believing for the Knicks to do a 30 for 30 comeback series here, and I can see it in the NBA Finals.
I'm believing.
Zach's believing because he wants the easy layup in the finals.
I'm definitely more afraid of the Pacers.
In the finals.
I am 100% more afraid for the Pacers. I just think we match up really good against you guys, but they have great shooting. Anyway, yeah. From literally waking up one night and because the notification happened at night here. I was living in Australia when Kevin Durant decided to sign with the Golden State Warriors. I remember waking up that night, seeing the notification, and I cried myself to sleep. That might sound insane because I was an adult man at that time, and I cried myself to sleep. And anyway,
did that happen in 18Z?
It happened in 18 Corbin. I was in that little converted room right
I don't
on the
remember.
kitchen.
I don't remember. I guess if I did remember, I didn't really pay attention.
You weren't in the house yet.
Oh, okay.
When he left.
Anyways, interesting.
But anyway, so that's a great weird segue for me to throw the Thunder in there. But if you think about your young core, you're going to be starting like a Knicks, a Mayfield. That's 2. Bucky and Harvey is 4. Thomas Nico makes 6. And then if we look at your tight end spot, that's maybe where you're going to have some unreliability this year. Of course, the trend can continue that tight ends will continue to score in the rookie season, which is not our expectation, but there might be some inconsistencies there this year. But then when you look at this core, that's 7. You can only start 3 more names. So you're starting, in your flex spots, the Ayuks, Judys, Suttons, Pollard is there if Tootin becomes something, Kyle, Cedric, maybe Pat Bryant becomes something. But it is more likely that you're like a year away, but there is definitely a possibility that this core of Knicks, Mayfield, Bucky, Harvey, Collins, Thomas, and whatever you get at tight end could carry into the playoffs, and then anything is possible. I mean, think about this time last year. Brian Thomas, his best work came in the fantasy playoffs. He just went absolutely nuclear. So I definitely think we're a contend team. I would give this roster overall it feels B+ to me.
Yeah, I feel that as well.
You have another first that you could play around with, but it almost feels like you would rather just keep that and let this team kind of grow naturally. But you have that other first that you can play around with. Who is the commish 2? The commish 2, their team is interesting. I think they will be competitive. But as far as like looking at the team that you're facing, they probably have the upper hand, but you still will be very competitive, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there anything we didn't cover?
Nah, that's everything.
Okay, so looking at your draft, you had a pretty great draft. You had so many draft picks, and really all of your depth is kind of built around the draft that you just had, right?
Exactly,
Jackson Dart improving your quarterback depth. Colson Loveland and Elijah Arroyo are your tight end room. You got them both in this class. RJ Harvey's going to be a crucial starter for you, and then a bunch of guys that we love that could be these what ifs, right? I gave you a B+ draft grade overall. I thought you did a really good job. Now, the question that he had is, how do I go about between closing the gap of the top guy in my league? Yeah, I think you could potentially move like Pollard in a first into something. And I think that could potentially give you a little bit more of an upper hand if you're wanting to contend this year in a more aggressive manner. But outside of that, I feel like you have most of these pieces here to go out and contend.
I agree. I don't think there's anyone we want to tear down from or trade away. I think, like Zach said, like you do have an extra first. That's probably the other thing that you can do, like package a player, whether it's a low tier player or a high tier player, and see what type of, heavy hitter that you can get. Can you use that first in Jerry Jeudy or something to get a Puka? Can you use to get an Amon Ra? Can you do something along those lines?
Might have to send both of those first if you want to do a trade like that, but
yeah, but you get what I'm saying. Just trying to utilize some sort of package and see what you can get there. So
yeah,
I'm kind of on the same page with Zach.
Well, is there a team that clearly, it looks like draft capital is pretty well spread across the board, but I wonder if there's a team that has a lot of running back strength that we could potentially look towards. Like, I think you could probably get like a Breece Hall for a package like this for Pollard in a first. You might be able to find a team where you can get Breece Hall and like a Evan Ingram level starter at tight end for this year or something. But could you get like... yeah, I'm not obsessed with the Breece Hall, but it is like an additional or a first idea. I'm just looking at players that can help us win straight away. Can't probably get a Gibbs. Saquon, not realistic. But what about... it's a full point premium, so you can't really think that McBride is available. I'm just going to keep looking at our options here. Jonathan Taylor, maybe. We already have Bucky Irving. Yeah. Well, Devon Achane might be really interesting. If we could do like Pollard the first and a Jeudy maybe for Devon Achane.
Pollard first. Yeah, that feels
maybe
like
instead of Jeudy we could send like Sutton. Or Kyle Williams, as much as we love Kyle. Or you could even go like a Tyler Shuck Geno Smith swap instead. So you get Geno Smith, you send them Tyler Shuck if they want to, kind of remain young. That's another idea that you could potentially do. So I don't think there's many moves I really want to make with this team. But...
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't think there's many moves that you can, not that you can, but I don't think there's many moves that you should make, because you're just forcing it, right? I think you can wait and see if what you can do. I guess this is kind of like you are a contender with an in and out mindset if these rookies don't hit, right? Like if the RJ Harveys aren't what we expected, well, really just RJ Harvey, right? I think that's kind of your biggest, I guess, RJ Harvey and Colston Loveland. If those two guys don't help you take your team to the next level, then maybe what you can do is see how you can potentially sell some of that first and get like more of a heavy hitter for next year. I think that might be a pathway there, but
I just thought of, looking at your wide receiver room, I think one thing you could potentially do is maybe just add another name there as well. If Ayuk isn't ready to go straight away, would a Devontae Adams be beneficial for a team like this? Probably. So that's the other thing that you could do to ensure you're contending straight away. It's weird because I don't really want to go buy a tight end and be aggressive with that when you already have Loveland and Arroyo. But, I mean, if you could send Loveland and that first away for McBride, I know that probably hurts to do. But... does that not make a ton of sense in a full point premium?
Yeah, fair.
And that just makes your roster pretty much locked in this year. But that's more of an all-in move where I think Badaki and I are more playing like we're contending, but even if we don't make it all the way this year, it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the main ideas that I would have, but more leaning towards bringing this team into the season and hoping that the way you elevate towards being closer to the guy you're contending with is that your younger players kind of outperform and grow into those roles. Your Harveys, right? Ayuk turns around. Loveland, Dart becomes a starter, and then you can maybe flip him if you want to, or that lets you flip a Baker. If Dart becomes a starter, if Tyler becomes a starter, can you package then Tyler and Ayuk, or Tyler and Tootin, or Tyler and Jerry, and then figure out how to improve the roster? But right now, it's more of a lot of holds across the board.
Yeah. Appreciate you there, Crush. You know how to get it done. But when I say that, you know how to get your playbook on the Flock Fantasy Message system. It's going to be customized to your team here within the next 24 to 48 hours. Big batch of playbooks going out here today for you. Most likely having all of your playbooks out within the same day, especially for everyone that are getting their playbooks here today. But appreciate you, Crush. Thank you so much for the support.
I wanted to quickly address Darth's question. He asked, how do you actually upload your team to the Flock site? So that's a great question. The first thing that you can do is just create a membership, even if it's just for free. The My Teams feature is free, so you can do that with this link I'm about to put in the chat there, flockfantasy.com/land, excuse me. But everyone can use the My Teams feature, which you'll see here on the right side of your screen. So when you create an account, you go here and you click add new, and then obviously Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo are linked. So a lot of people play on Sleeper. You enter your Sleeper ID there, right? And then this makes your life a little bit easier, because if you do want to go ahead and submit a team with us, you see that button in the top right or the bottom right where it says personalized advice, and you click team review. And then this is where once you've linked your teams up, they'll show here. So it'll automatically link all your settings for you. Then you click next. Obviously, choose whatever team is yours. Make sure the capital is correct. And then you'll choose Zach and Badaki here, right? And then obviously it's crucial to make sure that if you want it shown on the stream, you just slide that slightly up to the live tier. And then remember, if you become an annual member, it'll only be $7 upgrade after your annual membership. And then that is the way that you get it as well. If you're a member on a different, let's say you're a member with Flock or something, but you still want a playbook, that's how you can get it. But hopefully that makes sense. Appreciate y'all big time for being here. Let's get straight into Sonny's. But we did have a trade question submitted, Yeah, I wanted to. Those are just so easy to jump through. So let's get that out first. Colton, what's up, Colton? Thanks for the submission here. He says, undecided here. Currently have CMC, Achane, and Kamara, but want to get younger. So it looks like they would be sending away Henry and Coleman for the 106 and Mark Andrews. I'll be honest with you, my friend. That is the easiest smash I've seen in a hot minute. Especially if you think that you can land a Judkins, a Henderson there, a T-Mac, which I guess I don't see how you couldn't, because the 106, it's super flex, so Cam Ward will still be considered. But even if no one takes Cam Ward in this, wouldn't you still have one of Judkins or?
Yeah, you can still have one
Henderson?
of Judkins or Henderson there, most likely, unless.
This is the type of. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying unless both of those running backs get away from you early, and
this
like Cam Ward and Tedero or McMillan falls.
This is the type of move that you make that extends your team, right? We all love Derek, but I think he's gonna be like 32 this year or something like that. I know they just extended him. I'm not gonna ever use like a historical database or looking at other running backs over the age of 30 to determine what Derrick Henry is possible of, because Derrick Henry is a one-of-one player. But what I'm saying is you're basically resetting the clock, right? So you're essentially going from Derrick Henry to a Judkins or a Henderson. And the vast majority, I would be surprised if there is anyone out there who covers Dynasty content that doesn't have Judkins or Henderson above Henry in their rankings right now. So, yeah, this is an easy smash except for me. I think that is how you continue. I haven't seen Derrick Henry sold for that value this offseason, to be honest. So I think you got a great deal.
Not at all.
Darth says the issue says your league ID only consists of numbers. My team is on CBS. So when it comes to a CBS, or if you're on Flea Flicker, or these different platforms, some of them don't offer public access
to your teams
or to your leagues. Like the reason we don't have some of those is because of that in its own. But what you can do is, if you want to submit a team, you can go through the same process. But when you're going through that process, enter all these settings manually on the right hand side. And then once you've done that, you'll have to submit some screenshots. And then ideally you message us on Discord if you have like a spreadsheet of your team. But you can also just submit your screenshots of your team. Just keep in mind that we wouldn't be able to know what other teams have. So the trades would still be, we'd still be pointing you in the right direction, but we might not be able to give as specific ideas. But still, we've done plenty of team playbooks for people who don't have a sleeper league.
Yeah, appreciate you, Darth, man. And Commander's Burgers, I see it says sorry to interrupt against boys. Going to make a Flock Fantasy account. Yeah, you can definitely make it. So it's free, so you can create a Flock Fantasy account. Make sure you use the promo code LAND. So essentially, that just says, hey, you're going to be linked to us. And then when you do hypothetically get your team review later on in the future, then you'll automatically have that promo code locked with us as well. So definitely keep that in mind. So you don't necessarily have to pay anything at all. It's completely free. You also get 7-day free trial as well if you wanted to do something like that. But appreciate you, man.
Hey, Jeb. Appreciate you for dropping in, man. Welcome in. But Darth, you can put in as little effort as you want and just upload the screenshots, or as much effort as you want and let us know what these other teams look like. That's up to you. Unfortunately, that's why we always suggest people to be on Sleeper, because they are so public facing. Well, let's go to Sunny here. Appreciate everybody for being here. We've got some spots for a same day live team playbook, and of course the playbook is a very popular product from us. We spent a lot of time creating it, and a lot of you guys have loved this product. You can get yours by becoming a promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member. That will give you a voucher that you can use through the Flock store. When you submit your team review, it'll make the offline one completely free. The live version, just a $7 upgrade, 10 for our non-annual members, or 10 for our non-land members, right? So if you're a member of a different promo code, or you don't want to become a member, you can still get the live team playbook. It's just 10 versus $7 upgrade. And then obviously when you become an annual member, there are far more perks than just the playbook. That's just one of the perks, right? And you can decide whether you want that online or offline, the playbook. But you also get our rookie report each and every single year. You get the Dynasty Trade Dial, which is a very undervalued tool in our industry right now, I think. I think the Dynasty Trade Dial is one of the most valuable tools that is still lurking in the shadows that not many people have access to. It's really only people who have gotten a team playbook. And that tool basically shows you exactly when you should buy and sell every position at its peak. It shows trends over the year, over 365 days, of when every position is at its most valuable. But you also get the free trade question voucher. You unlock our rankings, premium tools, databases. You unlock our Discord. And, of course, you're supporting Badaki and myself. But let's get to Sunny here. If you guys want to get a team playbook, link is in the pinned comment. Let's get to Sunny.
Yeah, Sonny, man, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. I know you were here with us earlier. Please jump in at any point in time if any context is incorrect or missing. It looks like, looking at your league here, it's a 2-quarterback, 10-team start 11, which means it's a rolling deep. You can start up to 6 wide receivers in this league here. And you said 10-team league. I traded Caleb for Arroyo. I dropped Coleman. Okay, 2-point tight end premium. That's pretty significant. I was about to say I wouldn't have done that. But then I looked at your premium. It says 2-point tight end premium. We have 2 IDP slots and 1 kicker. Scoring settings are crazy. Don't mind the 2 IDP slots. Okay. All right. Well, let's have a look at your team here.
Even in a 10-teamer, though, I think Caleb Johnson probably had more value than Arroyo.
Yeah.
But are you telling me that tight ends get 3 points per reception?
That's what I'm thinking. That's how I understood it.
I've never seen that before. Is that true, Sonny? So you're telling me that a wide receiver gets 1 point for a reception, but tight ends get 3? Can you clarify if that's true? Because if that's true, she says, is it? Are you a yes, girl or a boy? It doesn't really matter. But I want to say like she or he. But they said yes, that's true. Can you think about that for a second? I know sometimes we do this, and it might be time wasting, but think about what Brock Bowers would have accomplished last year. Okay, so Brock Bowers finished with 15.5 points per game. This is crazy. But this is crazy. Okay, hold on. I'm doing the math here. So he would have actually in your league averaged 28.5 points per game. Brock Bowers would have averaged 28.5 points per game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Almost a 30 burger. And that's not even like a huge point per game season for our tight ends. Like, go back to... I'm going to go back to like 2021 Travis Kelce. That was Mark Andrews' year, but was it 2020 Travis Kelce? So 2020 Travis Kelce averaged 20.9 points per game in a PPR format. Okay? But if you were to use your league scoring settings, he actually averaged 35 points per game. What the hell? That's overboard, but I guess we have to think about it when we're reviewing the team for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Team 10 has Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, and George Kittle. He can start those 3 tight ends in the flex. I mean, that's probably not a bad strategy there if they're getting 3 points per reception.
Wow, and you're at a huge disadvantage with Arroyo being tight end 1.
Yeah.
It is a super duper premium. Can I clarify though, the start 11, is that including IDP? So is it a start 9 offensively, but a start 11 in totality? Or does the kicker slot actually make it a start 8? So is it actually a start 8 offensive and then there's 2 IDPs and a kicker? Is it a start 8 or a start 9 offensively? Clarify that for us. But
not including the kicker and IDP. If I'm counting the 2 IDPs and kickers, then it would be a start 9 from what I'm understanding.
Start 8 including kicker.
Start 8, excuse me. So that would be all heavy hitters. So this is what we're gonna including kicker. So it's really a start. Okay. Yeah,
it's a start 8 with offense, yeah.
Yeah, start 8 with offense.
That's the smallest superflex format you can have.
Yeah, which will change that too, by the way. We'll keep that in mind. So like technically
I'll put it in the chat. It's all heavy hitters there.
It's all heavy hitters. So that is a different format, meaning that when you see all heavy hitters, you kind of want the top premium top players. You know, you want the top 5 in almost every position that you could possibly get. But after all that, let's have a look at your team. You're currently ranked 9th out of 10th here. And you have Jalen Hurts, Cam Ward, Bryce Young, and Jalen Milroe there. So, okay, quarterback room. I guess you got Cam Ward here in this. Where did you get Cam Ward, by the way? And where did Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren go in your league as well? Because that would have been interesting if he was available. I probably would have taken him, but I know quarterback QB2 was probably shaking in your boots there with Bryce Young. Amarion Hampton, Kenneth Walker with Woody Marks there. So a decent running back room there as well. Looks like you had the 102. At the wide receiver position, you can start really only 3 wide receivers. Drake London, T. Higgins, and Matthew Golden there. You also got Luther Burden, Chris Godwin, Kyle Williams with Elijah Arroyo there on your team. Yeah. So
look, in hindsight, I get why you made the move for Caleb, but I love Elijah Arroyo. There's no guarantee Elijah Arroyo ever becomes a startable asset. That's what we have to recognize here. Like,
I think
for the tight end spot, where I was
going to go as well.
For the tight end spot, once you get outside of that first round, second round is obviously the second best scenario for you to hit. But I'm just going to look at our hit rates here. Because if you look at a round 2 tight end, it's a 42% hit rate, which is okay. But round 2 running back is like heaven. Round 2 tight end is like maybe. We might work out.
That's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of where I'm at as well. Like, I wonder who you could have gotten for Caleb outside of Elijah Arroyo. You know?
I would have rather gone like Caleb and Godwin, Caleb and Burden, Caleb and something to actually address the position at a higher spot. You know what I mean?
So Caleb, Sonny just said Loveland and Warren went at the 9th and 10th spot. I think I would have prioritized both of those guys over some of these plays that you've gotten here.
We don't know if Cam Ward was drafted ahead of them. But we definitely would have prioritized him over Cam Ward.
Yeah. I would have imagined, right? Like you had one. But I doubt Matthew Golden was taken ahead of him.
Well, keep in mind IDP though.
That's true.
So you can't really look at it like a traditional rookie draft.
No, you're right. You're right. That's totally fair. Anyways, I let me just say this: if Loveland and Warren went at the 9 and 10, and even in IDP, I would have tried to prioritize them wherever you even took Cam Ward. That's basically what I'm trying to get to. So like, I probably would have just taken that and then been okay with Bryce Young and Jalen Hurts.
I'd be super curious to see how, if you could type out, Sonny, how the first round went in this IDP rookie draft. I'd be very curious to see that. But I just want to clarify, guys, if you think what I'm saying is me being anti-Elijah Arroyo, you might be brand new to our channel, because nobody has been more pro-Elijah Arroyo in Dynasty this offseason than the guys you're watching right now. We love, at least I love Elijah Arroyo. Been obsessed with him this entire offseason. So please don't take that as if in some way I'm anti-Elijah Arroyo. That's not the case whatsoever. No one's been more of a pro Elijah Arroyo. But he says Loveland went at the 6'9", Warren at the 6'10", and Cam at the 7'6". So it was a startup that they're coming off of.
It was a startup. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought you had a rookie draft.
Okay, that makes sense.
That completely makes sense.
We're putting a lot of pieces together here.
Yes. Okay, so this is a startup then.
If you think about the starting lineup, it's really start 8, like we said. You're going to be starting Hurts and Ward, Hampton, Walker, London, Higgins, Arroyo. Then that is 5, 6. That's 7. You can only start one more name between Golden, Burden, Godwin. Look, it's not awful.
No, it's not. So my eyes looks like you went Hurts, then what? London, then Amarion?
Yeah, I'm
confused how the startup went.
I guess they drafted Hurts first. Maybe London was the second round pick.
It also looks like it probably would have been a third round reversal, maybe. So you had Hurts, London, it reversed back to you, but Amarion wouldn't have fell to the late third though.
Well, he would have gone third, but Higgins might have fallen to the fourth because, again, IDP.
Yeah, he said it was third round reversal. Yeah, you're true. Again, IDP, you're right.
Anyway, okay. So, overall,
so
I would say Sonny, you probably would recognize this, but maybe should have had a more aggressive strategy when it came to tight ends in this format. Like, did Brock Bowers not go at the 101? Who went at the 101 in this draft? Surely it was Brock Bowers, right? But
I'm not sure. I'll be right back. Sorry, continue. Keep going.
That's okay. So ending your draft with like Sanders and Gray, not ideal. I imagine there is literally no tight end on the waiver wire. Wait, why is wait, hold on. Are you telling me Ben Sinnott is on the waiver wire? Hunter Henry? Okay. Wait a damn second here. Please go pick up Ben Sinnott if he's on the waiver wire. Yeah. I love Tez Johnson, but I would drop Tez. I would drop Torrey. Love Torrey Horton as well. But Ben Sinnott should absolutely be rostered in this league. I know he didn't do anything as a rookie, but still. I mean, what happens if Elijah Arroyo has the same path as Ben Sinnott? Is everyone in your league going to give up on him after 1 year? Second round pick, didn't get opportunities. So you got to go pick up Sinnott. I would even say Musgrave should be rostered. Or if you want like a temporary fix, go get Hunter Henry. So pick up Hunter and Sinnott, and then you can drop, Tez and those names. But I was expecting your tight end room on the waiver wire to be naked. And it is not. That is an encouraging sign. But it also means I definitely wouldn't have sent Caleb away for Elijah Arroyo if I could have got Ben Sinnott off the waivers. But grab both of those guys. They could be little fill-ins for you. And Sinnott still has much upside as Arroyo. But obviously Arroyo, we still can see him, doing something as a rookie, which Sinnott didn't do. Anyway, okay, so thinking about a team like this, coming straight off a startup, Man, this is such an interesting team. It's such an interesting format. I think, as crazy as this might sound, and I don't want to do this, but I might be trying to tear down from Amarion. If I can tear down from Amarion and add a worse running back but improve my tight end position, I think I'm very interested in that. But yeah, I would put this probably around a... Man, with your tight end, we have to be realistic with this team grade. I'd probably say C plus to B minus range. Draft capital just a B flat. And I think we are a sleeper this year. I certainly wouldn't consider you the favorite because you're going to rely on a lot of people with the roster as it currently is constructed to be something for you, right? I mean, a vast majority of your starters you're trusting to be something, and we don't know if they will yet, right? So, Ward, Young, Hampton, Golden, Bird, and Kyle Arroyo, it's a big chunk of that roster, and we don't know if we can truly rely on them just yet. I would say sleeper, but wouldn't be surprised if we turn it into more of a retool. I think you can compete, though, to be fair, right? So, obviously, you don't have an upcoming rookie draft. Yeah, but with the names like Burden and Golden, all these names I just talked about, it kind of makes me want to lean into more the waiting game. How the hell did this guy put this team together from a startup though? No, but for real, how the hell did this guy put this team together off a startup? That's crazy. Oh my gosh, Team 2 has Laporta, Warren, and Njoku, and Kraft. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Sorry, I just find it so interesting seeing how everyone constructed their teams. Okay. So. All right, I think we are sleeper status. I'll wait for Badaki to do some admin here. But for me at least, I mean, if you consider the rookies that you got out of the startup, we can basically call that your rookie draft, if you will. It looks like you had a little bit of rookie fever though. Can we be honest, Sonny? Looks like there's a little bit of rookie fever here with the amount of rookies we have on this roster. I mean, half of your team are rookies or unproven guys. Might have had a little too much rookie fever there in our startup. Oh, look at that beautiful piece of art. I mean, that's a vast majority of your roster being compiled of rookies, unknown names, which is fine if you do that and it's the 2024 class outcome. But would you have loved that if it was, some previous classes? I don't know. But I like the overall haul that you have. I just would have preferred, I would have preferred probably building out a more whole roster. But there's some interesting names. So Adonai Mitchell should definitely be rostered. I would argue that Ben Sinnott is a bigger priority to roster, but Adonai Mitchell should not be a free agent. Ben Sinnott and then even Hunter Henry as like a name that maybe you could sell higher in season. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of these tight ends probably aren't going to be anything, but when I look at we'll call it your rookie draft, but you really didn't have a rookie draft, right? But landing like a Ward, a Hampton, a Golden, a Burden, it's a pretty good outcome. Some of these other names gave you a B+, but again, these three are like priority names: Sinnott, Mitchell, and Hunter Henry.
Yeah, I'll
oh, so do you also have Travis Hunter? Sonny, do you have Travis Hunter?
Oh, if he would have Travis Hunter, surely we would see that.
Well, yeah, unless they designate it only as... Oh, no. No, he doesn't have Hunter.
Maybe he has.
He says he
Hunter.
picked up Hunter Henry. Definitely pick up Ben Sinnott as well,
Okay.
though. Definitely pick up Ben Sinnott as well. Like
I
would.
put Ben Sinnott
I like
in
Torrey
there.
Horton, but I would drop Torrey Horton for Ben Sinnott for sure. Anyway, so and that's just because of the premium that you're in right now, right? But all right. So the two things that I can really think of with this roster is a tier down from Hurts and a tier down from Hampton, and that's just because I want to find a way to still have a really good roster, but improve at tight end. And there's one guy that just has a horde of tight ends. That's Drek Daddy. So I'd be curious if you could tear down from a Hurts to like a Caleb. Like, what if you could get Caleb and Njoku and Connor or something?
Yeah. Caleb, Njoku, and Connor.
You know, that still lets you stay young with the team that you've built. Caleb has plenty of upside. It gives you another RB to start, and it gives you a tight end that you can rely on. Now, obviously, I'd love to sit here and say, well, make that Tyler Warren, make that Sam Laporta. But then, at minimum, you'd have to include a first if you want to do that. And I don't think you want to use your first with the way your roster is constructed right now. I think that would be dangerous to send away your own first. But maybe you could, if he wants to keep Caleb Williams, could you do something where you got like Jordan Love and Sam Laporta? Could you do that deal for Love and Tyler Warren and ask for Connor? You know, these are the type of moves I think you could potentially make with a team like that is just hoarding the tight end position. Now, they're going to pretend like they have a bunch of leverage, but in reality, they're going to just keep those tight ends unless they make a reasonable trade. Like, no one's going to come to them and be like, please, sir, can I have a tight end?
Yeah, right.
They've kind of put themselves in that position where you kind of need to go through them. This guy has Jared Goff and Dak Prescott as well as Justin Fields. He also has Bowers, McBride, and Kittle. Would you go from Jalen Hurts to, let's say, Dak and McBride?
Jalen Hurts, Dak, and McBride. Yeah, I would. In a 3-point premium like this, why not?
Yeah. So that's a possibility. What's up, Darth? You're good. So we will. I do see your submission there, Darth. I see you. So you're good to go. Now the other route is like a Hampton move, and we probably have to go to those same teams. Yeah, like I don't think you can do a Hampton for McBride in this format. That might not be ideal.
Yeah. So are we wanting to tear down from Amarion? Is that what we're doing?
I'm just exploring the option.
Okay.
So if you could do like a Hampton and then turn that into Connor, Laporta, Zay or something.
Yeah. Connor, Laporta, Zay. I'm okay with that as well.
That's possible in like a 0.5 premium. I don't know if it's possible here, but if the guy wants to be rational, it would make a lot of sense for his team to do that move, because then he's got May, Caleb, Gibbs, Hampton, still a great wide receiver room, and tight ends to, you know, so many tight ends still. So yes, this is a full. This is the team we're reviewing, guys, is a 3-point tight end premium, which we've never seen before, actually. But I think those are the main teams that would make sense. I mean, we can go back to that team that has McBride, but look, if you can send like Hampton away from McBride, I think it makes a lot of sense long term to do something like that. You know.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that that's probably possible given the premium in your league. But you certainly couldn't get anything in return for it.
No, couldn't.
But what if you did like a What if we try to do a Hurts and a Hampton move here? So we're going to tear down from both of them. Okay. Bear with me. And we're going to ask for... What if you could do Fields, Achane, McBride?
Fields, Achane, McBride. I'm not in love with it.
No?
I mean, it helps.
You're basically going from Hurts to Fields and McBride if Achane and Hampton are in the same tier.
I definitely get that. Yeah. Yeah, look, I get it. I guess I can we squeeze Dak in instead of Fields?
I think that makes it that doesn't make any sense for the guy who's sending this deal away, in my opinion. Fields is the reason that trade gets done. Prescott has a lot of security. You're just sending away 3 guys that you're confident in, for Hurts and Hampton, I think. So
I think I would try Dak, but I get what you're saying. But
so what is the deal then? Because this deal doesn't get accepted.
Justin Hurts. Let me just pull up this guy's team. I mean,
I think we'd all want Dak, right? But logistically, how do you get that trade accepted then?
I guess you can throw in something else. You can throw in one of these. Yeah.
Maybe you can try and throw Chris Godwin in there. I don't know if that's gonna change anything, but
yeah. So Jalen Hurts for Trey, I guess, is somewhat even, not really in a 3-point premium. And then you have Amarion to 8. Devon is a lateral move. So then, yeah, it probably had to be a Godwin.
Well, that's why I said the Justin Fields, because you basically just made the case for it, no? Lateral. Close to lateral, but you prefer Hurts, and then you're getting Fields, as Fields is the reason you're able to tear down because of the uncertainty of him.
Yeah, and I think it just puts a bigger risk on your team, though. Like, I think getting McBride helps your team significantly. But, like, if you're telling me that McBride's on your team and Justin Hurts bust, is like, damn, I wish I had Hurts still. And then hoping that Arroyo, like, I can pick up a tight end in 2026 if there's a big one with my first-round pick, hypothetically. That's kind of my mindset when I think of something like this. But I get what you're saying, because, like, you want to tear down to help your team in the long run.
Yeah,
but that's a big risk on Fields as a super flex, in my opinion.
You have to lose somewhere, and I think that's why I'm finding it difficult, because you're not telling me where we're going to lose.
No, I get that. That's why I'm saying I'm happy to do Chris Godwin and see if that works. But if it's not going to work, then sure. I don't think it's harmful trying. But
and again,
let us know.
This is a 3-point premium for tight ends. If you're just joining us. You're probably, if you're not aware of that, you're probably not understanding why we're formulating these trades. But, Sonny, please let us know what you think. The alternative to all of this, by the way, is just playing it cool and going into the season and seeing what Elijah Arroyo can give you. Which you certainly can do. There's nothing wrong with that. You have a lot of players that you're kind of waiting on. Like, will they come up? Will it be their year? So there's no harm in just holding for now. Yeah, appreciate you, Sonny, man. You should be receiving excuse me. You should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours on the Flock Fantasy message system with everything that we drew up here for you today. But once again, please let us know if you have any last minute questions. He says, I have to take a good look at my team after getting the playbook. All right. Once again, you should be receiving that in the Flock Fantasy message system. Yeah. 24 to 48 hours. But huge love and thank you so much for the support. Yes. So we have all these are offline, but the first live one is M. Reed. And then I think, let me double check on my back end, but I'm pretty sure JD, Butterball, and Darth are both live as well. So let's double check that. So Butterball, yes, is live, and Darth, yes, is live. So right now we have M. Reed, Butterball, and Darth in the queue, and we're going to get to those today. Appreciate y'all for being here with us. Would love to have a look at your team if you'd let us. We are giving out the team playbook in these reviews to anyone who becomes a promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member. That will give you a voucher for a team playbook, aka team review through the Flock site. Just choose Zach and Badaki. And then if you want it shown on the stream to get it live, you got to slide that tier up to live, okay? So that's just a $7 upgrade for our annual members, and a $10 upgrade for non-annual members. But M Reed is up next year. You can see annual member upgraded with that $7 to show it on the stream. And there's nothing wrong with it if you just want an offline playbook. Plenty of people prefer that medium. But M Reed here is up next.
Okay.
Looks like they're in a little bit of a rebuild here.
Oh boy. We'll have a look at your team here. We can definitely help you out.
No context, by the way.
Yeah, no context. All I am seeing here is a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 10, which is our classic middle ground here, which I'll put in the chat for you guys as you follow along. And M Reed, if you're here, let us know. If not, you should be receiving a time code with this team review. And your team name is M Reed, Reed 459 here. So let's have a look at this team.
Yeah, not promising when you have under 10,000 value points, but let's have a gaze. Excuse me.
Yeah, at the quarterback position, J.J. McCarthy, Tua, and then really no one else to speak of. So at least you have 2 starting quarterbacks. Your QB3 is a little bit weak. Zach Charbonnet, Jonathan Brooks here. So really no running backs to speak of here, but you have the 104. Maybe you're going to be getting a running back there. At the wide receiver position, you can start up to 5 wide receivers in this league. Ladd, Ayuk, Addison, Myers, Hollywood Brown. Not the strongest wide receiver room either outside of Ladd and Brandon Ayuk with Jordan Addison there. And then Mark Andrews as your tight end. And this is not a non-tight end premium here. So lots to work with. Just want
to say shout out to Sonny, by the way. He says, appreciate y'all. I know the scoring is kind of messed up, everything. The startup kind of messed up everything. But no, look, you're fine. It's fun being in unique leagues like that, right? Obviously, knowing the value of each position is helpful when you're in the startup, but doesn't mean you can't recover. By the way, Commander says, just made a Flock account using code LAND. What is your username? Let us know that, and then we will make sure and get you that free trade question voucher, my friend, from yesterday's stream. JM says, under my teams, what does the arrow down do? I thought it was to sort rankings, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. Under my teams, the arrow down, I don't know. There's a lot of arrow downs here. But obviously you can switch between like different leagues if you like, select, different teams. You can select different experts that you want to look at, either expert consensus or our rankings. And then when you're sorting through these teams, if you want to sort by quarterback strength, the arrow down will let you sort by quarterback strength. Now you'll see it goes from 1 all the way down to 12 there. That shows the strength of quarterback. You can do that for every single position, including draft capital. And all you need to do is, so if I click quarterback once, I'll click it once, it sorts by quarterback. If I click it again, it'll then go back to sorting by overall strength. And yeah, hopefully that makes sense. You can also search for players in the top right on the My Teams feature. But M. Reed, interesting team here. I do not think you're close to competing. I'll just say that.
I agree.
I think this is probably even closer to a full rebuild than it is a punt.
That's kind of where I'm at.
I don't think we're gonna fix our issues by being patient 1 year. You know what I mean?
Just think another thing is, like, there's not much that he can sell in a full rebuild unless it's Ladd McConkey. There's no one else outside of that.
Well, you can certainly position yourself to be as bad as possible so you can at least have more valuable picks in the future. Like with a team like this, I would want to be as bad as possible, so hopefully in 2026 I have the 101, and then I can maybe make some sort of trade down from that, like we saw this year with Ashton Genty. And it's not probably what you want to hear, but it is realistic in us saying, like, teams not in a position anywhere near to compete, right? So overall team grade, I mean, you don't have a starting running back, if we're honest, right? We don't have a quarterback 3 we can rely on, and our top quarterbacks haven't proven much in fantasy yet. Ayuk is still coming back from the injury. I love him, though. I want to be honest, but I don't want it to come off harsh. This is probably like a D. It's either D flat or D minus to me.
Yeah, I would put D flat
Okay.
personally.
So we'll go D flat here. A lot of work to be done, right?
Yeah.
Starting lineup right now is probably McCarthy, Tua. Then I guess you're starting Sharbs and maybe Algier for now. McConkey, Ayuk, Mark Andrews, and then you would still need to start 3 more names. Would be, I guess, Addison, Myers, Hollywood. There are no untouchables. Let's call that their
No.
first round picks.
2026 and 2027.
Don't sell
You
them.
definitely want to keep holds. JJ McCarthy, Brandon Ayuk are the 2 guys you want to hold for the future. And a bunch of drops: Brenton Rice, Devontae Walker, Eric Wall, Tyler Johnson, Cam Akers.
Gardner.
You can drop. Yeah, plenty of drops here. Jahan Dotson. So many names that you can drop here.
Yeah, I would much
you
rather
need to
roster
get
like
room.
an Elijah Mitchell, Miles Sanders. Those names could potentially gain value in season, and you could sell them for something, even if it's just like a third or a fourth. But yeah, so a lot of work to do. Have we
That's all
not done any admin? Okay, so the good news is you do have a rookie draft upcoming. It's a super flex start 12. The 104 is in a great spot, and you can maybe tear down from it. I would say that's your best move. If you do stick and pick there, I mean, you'll have great options, though, between like the Hunter, McMillans, Henderson, Judkins, Ward. You can make a case maybe a team like this, you prefer to maybe draft a wide receiver because just the longevity of the position, how much grace we give to first-round wide receivers. I mean, think about it. Rome Odunze had a look, for fantasy football, don't hear what I'm not saying, had a terrible rookie season. And we're all still easily ranking him top 20, some people top 15, right? So if the inverse were to happen to those running backs, maybe they wouldn't have as much grace. You know, it's just easier. The longevity is there. You could even consider Cam Ward with a team like this, honestly, if you're just trying to shoot for the moon. You could go any of those positions. Late second, really impossible to tell you what is probably possible at that position. Maybe a Scatterboo falls or a Tootin or a, but it's most likely a Kyle Williams. Like these tight ends might be
Maybe
doable.
That's probably where I personally like to target a name like Tyler Shook there, especially at that quarterback position. I think he can definitely be in play. But sometimes you can get him at like the 301, right? Like I got him with the comp pick, which is like the 213.
Yeah.
So you could potentially get him there as well. But just keep that in mind, especially with a team like this. I think we're probably going to tell you to move on from Tua as we're going to go full rebuild as an older quarterback. Can you go out and get a Tyler Shook in those names, right? Other names that you could potentially sell. I know Zach is probably going to put Jacoby Myers, maybe Mark Andrews as an older player, more in season. That's probably about it. I can't think of selling anyone else.
No, not right now. I think
not right now either.
The single best move you can make for a roster like this is tearing down from the 104 and staying in the same tier in that top 7. Because truly, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but it really doesn't matter if this roster ends up with a Hunter or you go Judkins at the end of end of that tier. Your roster is so poor across the board that you're going to be more benefited from an additional asset than being picky about what particular player you get in that tier. So why don't we look for those teams that own those picks from the top to the bottom? Let's see.
Top to bottom.
The 106 is owned by GK Doodoo. I don't know why I said Doodoo.
Why'd you say that?
GK Udoo. But even if you could grab like the 106 and any of those other firsts, that's great. So the 106, and honestly, if they're picky and they only want to give you the 112, we're totally fine with that. I have no problem whatsoever doing a deal like that. And then maybe this is how you sell Jacoby Myers as well. If they want Jacoby Myers, can you get the 110 and then send them the 104 and Jacoby Myers?
Yeah.
Something like that, or it's not a premium, so I would have no problem even sending like an Andrews in a deal like this. But obviously Myers might be more ideal. But the 11, the 12, it really doesn't matter for a team like that. We'll be completely happy. And I think I did let the intrusive thoughts win. Okay, so let's keep looking here. We found the 106. The 105 has a lot of
107,
movability
109.
here. You could go
Yeah,
107,
for sure.
109. Yeah, that would be clutch. And if you had to add Jacoby Myers into that, you and I would do that as well, right?
Exactly.
We would have no problem doing that. Or even like the 301 or something, you know, into a deal like that. I wouldn't.
That guy needs a quarterback. Well, he doesn't really need a quarterback, but
I probably
no
wouldn't.
tags in there.
Um,
Get all three first. Sorry. Really
that's
random.
okay. He has a 105. If you wanted to move back one spot, I would do that for like the 205. You know, if you only move back one spot,
Yeah, we
that's
like
fine.
that tier.
Alternatively, you could move back one spot and ask for a Penix Tua swap. So Michael Penix and you send Tua tags. Now, most that you'd probably pay to do something like this, because people are pretty low on Penix, is like the 301 on top. But that will make a ton of sense as you're trying to look more towards the future. Like if Tua comes out there and he has a top 12 season, it's really not going to change people's opinions of his value. If Penix does it, he'll be way more valuable. So if you can find a way to do something like that, that would make sense. But those are the most, that's the most, how do I say it? Like the way to make the most impact on your roster is to make a move like that. Now, why don't we find a Tua home in case it doesn't work in any of those trades? Let's sort by quarterback strength and we'll go to the bottom. Art of the deal here has Richardson, Stafford, Wilson. I'd be curious if we could like turn Tua into a... It's weird. I don't know what this guy's team is doing. I would love their first if we could somehow do that.
In 26, yeah. I mean, he doesn't have a first in 25.
I would probably be willing to even send like Myers in this deal if we could get the 303 on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
It was a 303, right? Yeah, I think so. Yes. So I don't know what this team is doing. I almost said like a straight swap for Ricky Pearsall, but
that's where my mind went to.
I think I prefer the pick because this team is just not good. Let's go to Xfinity.
I would even do the like tags. Would you do tags for Ricky and like maybe it's not enough, like in the 206 or something like that?
Yeah, I would be fine with that.
I feel like you
don't
can
know
get
if you
in
can
that
get
tier
that much
still.
though. Do you think so?
I mean, with a team like this, and he probably is looking at quarterbacks saying, "I need help." Hypothetically,
Well, then if he the issue is if he makes this deal, wide receiver.
he doesn't have a wide receiver. Well, you could throw.
Not ideal. Let's keep looking.
Can't
Let's
really
keep
do
looking.
Jacoby, yeah.
Yeah. So there's not really something here that makes sense to me. Maybe you could go. Yeah. I mean, no, nothing makes sense with this deal. Let's keep looking. Olave? Tua for Olave?
Yeah, Tua
Straight
for
up?
Olave. Yeah, I don't mind that.
Kind of build around him instead. There's really not as many teams that need quarterbacks as I was hoping.
No, there are kind of even unless someone's trying to tier up for the circus biz, dude. I feel like might be interested.
But you can't really tier up to Tua. I don't think the guy who owns Darnold and Fields looking at Tua and thinking, yeah, let me pay up for this, you know.
Yeah, sure. Well,
But
yeah.
maybe Myers or maybe Andrews could give you some leverage here, and let's see who needs a tight end. So Tammy714 could use a tight end. Unfortunately, they really don't have any middle ground with this roster. But I guess we could just ask for their first. Like, would you send them Myers and this could work. So let's try and send them Myers and Andrews for their 26 first and their 26 second, for example.
Yeah, okay with that.
So that's an idea. The guy who has Jonnu Smith. Could you turn Mark Andrews into a Jameson Williams? I think that could be possible. Would rather build around Jameson at this point myself.
What's happening, Davo? Welcome in, brother.
Yeah. Let's see. The guy who has Jake Ferguson, there's not really any young players there, but I mean, if you could just turn him into like the 205, I have no problem with that. You're going to get one of Burden, Higgins, Harris, that range. Yeah, I think those are your main options. Everyone else has like a startable tight end at that point. So those are the main options with Jacoby Myers. Where is he ranked right now on like KTC, for example? I'm curious. I'd be curious to see just because
I
want to know like
late second, early third, personally.
Right.
That's where I think he's being ranked. Or like amongst my wide receivers. Oh, no idea. I would probably say like wide receiver 50 something.
Yeah, I want to see what sort of young names are in the wheelhouse. So like Kyle Williams, Jack Besh, that was kind of where I was going to go. Can you get a Kyle Williams? Can you get a Jack Besh? Can you get a Josh Downs? Even a Keon Coleman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jack Besh would be ideal. Just to try and stay a little more young with this team as we really... Myers is like the example of a player we have literally no need for. He's going to be a decent flex option, but that just doesn't matter for us. He's never going to gain value to the point where he's, now he's top 24 and I can sell him and tear down. Like, it's just not possible. So, yeah. A lot of work to do on this team, but I hope it was helpful.
Yeah, M. Reed, man, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. You should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours. Customized everything that we drew up here for you today, man. Thank you so much. You should be getting that on the Flock Fantasy message system.
Yes.
Love.
Appreciate you big time, my friend.
All right. What do we got next here?
I appreciate y'all for being here with us. Do us a favor, hit that like button to show some love. We are dedicating this stream pretty much completely to team playbooks and helping people with their dynasty teams. And of course, you can get into the queue if you like. Definitely a good day to do so, to get your team playbooks in. We have a trade question here from Matthew. So
I appreciate you, Matthew.
What's up, Matthew? Say hello to Bree. He says, I would like your opinion on this. I see it as fair. I hate to lose Brian, but Rice and picks are nice. So it looks like they are sending away Brian Thomas for Rice. Only one first. The seconds, when you're sending away a name like Brian Thomas, I love Rashee Rice, but Brian Thomas is what every dynasty player has wet dreams about. A young player that has an elite rookie season at the wide receiver position. You know what I mean? And Rice, there are plenty of people who are not in on Rashee Rice. So it's not like you're tearing down to a London, a JSN. You're tearing down to a name that people... You can't sell Rice for those same players that I have in the tier with him. You know what I mean? I value him the way. You could sell him to me probably for a price that you would like. Because I have him in the same tier with the Marvs, the Lads, the JSN, the Londons. But the vast majority of Dynasty players do not. And they have major question marks about him, right? So I would say this is not enough for a Brian Thomas move down, given the market opinion of a Rashee Rice. Matthew says, I have tried to get Rome, Tet, Rice, and all for 26 and 27 first combined. Everyone says they can't do it in a 14-team league. Yeah. I get that it's a 14-team league, but...
Yeah, I think that's still tough. Like,
I just don't think I would do it either. I mean, I'm assuming you're getting the first from the guy that you're sending that pick to. I mean, who has
Rice is Rice? DJ is not. It's just not highlighting the right person. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, so you would get there first, I assume. But they have Josh Allen. They're probably gonna make the playoffs. They have Josh Allen. They have Bucky, Taylor, Ladd. You'd be giving them Brian Thomas. I know that roster looks bad, but that's a 14-team league. They're probably going to make the playoffs. So are you really comfortable sending Rice away for a first that's late? That just doesn't seem like enough, even a 14-team league.
Yeah, I would agree. It doesn't feel like enough. Now, if you told me it was Rice and then like a low tier wide receiver that we like a Luther Burden or Jamison Williams, but I know in the 14-team league that's tough. I think I'll be a little bit more intrigued.
Yeah, it's Rice and 2 firsts, or it's no deal, even in a 14-teamer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But hopefully that helps, Matt. All love. Thank you guys. Love the support. Hope you guys are doing well.
And even what's the team name for Matt here?
I think Matt's team was a team that has Betch Please. Love that name. Betch Please. I think that's his team.
Yeah, I mean,
Brian Thomas. Yeah.
I don't even think you need to make a move like that, to be honest with you. Like, you're starting Hurts in a 14-teamer. You're starting Hurts, Mayfield, Chuba, and then this doesn't really fix your running back problems. But maybe Benson if he's startable. But then you have Brian, Pickens, Hawkinson. That's a start 7 already. And then you have to start 3 more names between Besh, Adams. You know, obviously it's not ideal. I would rather send like a Cam Ward away from a team like this. And then go find like the Tua owner. Everyone hates Tua, and get Tua in a starting running back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tua in a better receiver. So, yeah, I would rather keep Brian at that price. But appreciate you, man. All right, yeah. JD Butterball, are you in the chat, my friend? Because it is your time to shine.
He's with us. Surely he's with us. He's been with us for a while here. Hey, thank you so much for the support there, JD Butterball, and all everything that you do. 50 Shades of May is your team name.
Incredible.
And we are going to have a look at this. It's a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 10. Another middle ground here for us and your team. Matthew, Love, Joshua, he is here. He says, just did this startup. I'm torn on what to do. I'm thinking in or out is too easy. I really want to push the chips in. Please help me get rid of Flowers. Love you guys. All right, awesome.
It's hilarious because I release a video and I say, like, here are my concerns about Flowers. And everybody, there's so many comments being like, that's stupid. He's the most obvious buy low. Like, Zay Flowers, you love young receivers. And then nobody wants to buy him. I always find that funny how there's like these comments of people who are like, no, very clearly you're wrong, and then no one in any of our leagues wants to buy the players. You know
what you need to do.
No one wants Jacoby Myers, but everybody's commenting that he's the easiest buy low of all time. Nobody wants Zay Flowers, but everyone's commenting on my streams that I'm an idiot because he's a young receiver that produced like 13 points per game. Nobody wants Travis Etienne, even though it's like the most liked comment on our video this year that he's a buy low. It's hilarious how that works, but.
It's hilarious how it works. All right. Appreciate you. You currently rank 2nd out of 12 with this team. Mm-hmm. And let's have a look. Drake May, Kyler Murray with Joe Milton. I think it's a good quarterback room. That QB3 is what's hurting us. Yep. Not really hurting, but you know how we like to prioritize 3 quarterbacks, but that's totally okay. At the running back position, R.J. Harvey, James Conner, Bashul Toot, and Brian Thomas, Aaron Jones. So it looks like R.J. Harvey, James Conner, and Aaron Jones might be starting with Brian Robinson in there in the wings, which is okay. You can start it to 5 wide receivers. You're starting 5 T, Olave, Ayuk, and Mika, Waddle with Zay Flowers. You have Luther Bird in there as well, Cortland Sutton, Debo Samuel. A lot of good depth at the wide receiver position.
How do you think this startup went, though? Who was the first-round pick?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
He must have traded his first-round pick away, surely.
Yeah, with a 0.5 tight end premium. I mean, the way I'm seeing this is he probably went Drake.
In the 2nd. I imagine he traded away his first-round pick.
Because he has an extra first and 26. So you probably went Drake, Kyler, T. I'm seeing.
May was his first pick at the 205. But who was the 2nd-round pick then? Or the third-round pick? That might have been Kyler or T, I guess. Yeah, no, that makes sense. But what did you get? What did you get for moving your own first?
I mean, looks like he got next. He doesn't have his own first, by the way. So I'm assuming you got an extra first, or pick swaps or something like that.
It's a very deep team that lacks really any top end name. I mean, if we were to do admin here and say like untouchables, I don't think there is one, right?
There's not one untouchables. But let's just keep. What we can do is just put your 26 first as untouchables for now.
He doesn't have a 26 first.
His 26 first. He has two, don't?
He doesn't have his. He has two, but he doesn't have his.
Yeah.
So we kind of need to go a little bit more win now. With windows open, I would say, because you can't really, without your own first, go into the season and be like, oh, it's fine if I tank in season. You just have no benefit to doing that. So, yeah, I don't think there is an untouchable. Maybe your 27 first we shouldn't sell in the future, but yeah, if you think about the starting lineup, it would probably be May and Murray, which you're going to need May to take a step up, right? Maybe we tear down from May. You know, I'm talking about this in an upcoming video. It is the time of the year to tear down from a quarterback. I love Drake May, but I would definitely be open to moving down to certain names to get a big return. But so right now it's May, Murray, Harvey, Connor, Higgins, Olave, Warren. That's 7, and you only need 3 more starters. So let's say the starters that you have are Ayuk, Waddle, Flowers. That would leave Brian Robinson on the bench. That would leave Aaron Jones on the bench. Tootin. That would leave Egbuka, Burden, Sutton, Debo, Kyle, Kelsey. Forgot about Kelsey. So I think you can probably afford to consolidate this roster a little bit. You know, in fact, if we don't have our own 26 first, why not use the first that we do have to build a more complete roster across the board? I mean, it's not like we can point to any of these picks coming off of a startup and say these teams are bad. That just doesn't really exist, does it? Touchdown and beer. Yeah, I mean, his team is pretty much across the board average like everyone else's. I think you'll see that pretty much across the board. The exploding offers is the other team here. And again, another team that has Herbert, Purdy, Chase, Loveland, Kittle. So that's what happens when you have these picks off a startup. You don't ever really know if there's any value in them or not. But I would say let's try and consolidate pretty much across the board. But we're going to consolidate and move up. But we're going to move back, I think, from May to do that. So there's a video coming out soon. I would encourage you guys to watch it on your Sunday. But May is one of those names I'm willing to tear down from. I think Brock Purdy makes a ton of sense. We'll get into that in a second because we need to finish this admin stuff. Or have we already finished admin?
Yeah, so untouchables, none hold. Chris Olave, Brandon Ayuk, Luther Burden, Mika and Buka. I don't really have any drops for you here. I guess if you were to drop somebody, you can drop names like J.K. Dobbins if he doesn't sign to a team. But that's probably the only person that I see there that you could potentially drop on this team. You can drop, a Lambert Smith, if you really wanted to, if we're going to be consolidating. But once again, you don't really have to make any drops there. Untouchables, there's none. Main pathway forward, since you don't have any of your first, so we're going to categorize you into a windows open, of course, as you already know that there, Joshua. I would also say draft capital with 2 first-round picks. That's probably not yours. I'll give that a B+. You still have your seconds and your third in 2026 and 2027. Overall team grade, I think we would both put this maybe at like a B flat, B+, around there.
That's normal after a startup, yeah.
Yeah, so other than that, I think that is all the admin that needs.
Okay, so let's go to our chalkboard here. I want to explore the idea of a May tear down, and the names that will come to mind for me are going to be Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, which he already has, so we'll rule that name out. What was the group I was mentioning here? I don't really think you can tear down from May to like a Caleb, a Nix, but Baker, if you want to go competitive, makes sense to me. Purdy is honestly perfect. I don't know why I put that. Baker Mayfield. Give me 1 second. Let me look at my notes from this video. Because I had a
I
list
get the
of
notes out.
quarterbacks there that I was comfortable kind of moving down with, and I don't really think anyone needs to sell Drake May, by the way. I just think there are certain names that you can potentially, and unfortunately Brock Purdy was a name I've been suggesting to do all offseason, and then he got signed to the extension, so it might not be as easy now. But let's find this in my notes. So yeah, the names that I discussed were Baker, Purdy, Goff. But obviously with Goff, the further you go down here, the bigger the return. You already have Kyler. Kyler was one of those names. And then the other names I used were McCarthy and Penix, but they don't really apply to a team that is trying to just go all in, move the chips in, you know? So let's look at the Brock Purdy team, because that's really my ideal situation, right? And they have a Quinshon Judkins. They have, Jamar Chase isn't going to work. But I'd be curious if we could land a Quinshon Judkins. So Drake May plus what equals Brock Purdy plus Quinshon Judkins? And then even if you don't want to, let's say you want to flip Judkins into an A-Chan to a different team. Or you want to flip Judkins into, a Bucky or something, right? As a contender. You can look at that. But I would say Brock Purdy, Drake May, and so maybe James Conner, ideally Brian Robinson and Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
I think Aaron Jones makes more sense. Brian Robinson makes more sense. Yeah, like that would be great in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't mind these trades. Excuse me. Tearing down Brock Purdy, Quinshon, that feels really good.
Now, I wouldn't do a tear down for any other name on this roster outside of Chase, but that's unrealistic. So, but what if? Well, hold on. We have those first round picks. This guy doesn't have his own. This guy doesn't have his own first though, so we could give him his first back. This is probably not going to happen, but just to give you some, little oomph here, we can make that Connor and those 2 first round picks. So that would be May. We're giving May, Connor 2 firsts for Purdy and Chase. That would give you still a starting lineup of Purdy, Kyler, RJ, and then we start one of Jones or Bryan. But then we already have T. Higgins, so that might not make sense. Let's not address that then. Okay, moving on. Unfortunately, this is the reality of like a startup. There's not as much flexibility. But let's see who has Baker Mayfield as well. Man, that would have been awesome if you didn't have T. I guess you could move T. Yeah. If you want to explore that, you might be able to like have a trade for T in place already and see if you can make a move like that. But yeah. The Baker owner is embrace the chaos. They have Trevor. I think I would do Trevor as well. Trevor's a good one to add to this list. Yeah.
I agree.
But in this scenario, it would be like Baker, Chuba, Marv somehow, right? And we can figure out what the first look like. Maybe.
Yeah, use those first.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield plus Chuba Hubbard plus Marvin Harrison Jr. And we send Drake May. In an ideal world, you send Drake May and James Conner and like a 26 second or something. Now, if that's not possible, maybe we do like a double tier up and we send those 2 first. How do we make this a massive deal? So it's just tough because you're not going to get Neighbors or CD.
No, you're not.
Yeah, so maybe that isn't possible. So maybe we keep it smaller. Would you make it Drake May and a 26 first to end with Baker, Chuba, and Marv?
Drake May, a 26 first, Baker, Chuba, and Marv. Yeah, I'll be okay with that too. Chuba. Just looking at this other guy's running back pieces that he has.
Yeah, maybe if you did that, you could ask for Kyron Williams.
Yeah, that's probably where I was gonna go. Even then, you could probably throw something small. Like if you had to get that done, and then you throw like what was the other person that you have here?
And if you
Actually,
wanted
no,
to
I
get
don't want to
Lawrence,
Connor there.
you could make that Hubbard instead of Kyron, because I assume Lawrence has more value in Dynasty with the age. But, yeah. So, that's an idea there. That Trevor Lawrence Baker Mayfield team definitely makes a lot of sense. I think I'd rather go like the Marvin route than like pay up for neighbors there. But yeah, to me that makes a ton of sense. And then it gives you like this ability to look at, okay, now I have Marv, now I have Chuba on my team. If you were to make a move like that, hypothetically, right? Where's our team name? Where are we? Okay, all right. So then we can look at like, okay, now I have Connor. What can I use? I can use that 26 first in Connor to upgrade. Okay, now Olave becomes an upgradable piece. 26 and first on Olave. What can I turn that into? You know, or even a T. Higgins at that point. So that just gives you more flexibility. Can I go out there and send Zay Flowers, a first, and Olave to someone and land, you know, a Brian Thomas plus, you know, a Monroe St. Brown plus. So I think pretty much across the board. Can I send Connor Flowers and the first after making a move like that, and go out there and get an Achan? You know,
Yeah.
one of those top names. So that's what I would do there. At least I would explore it. They don't have to make these moves. The last name would be Jared Goff, right?
Jared Goff, yeah.
So let's have a look at the team with Jared Goff. And then I see some questions in the chat, so we'll answer your questions in the chat, guys, in a second. I just want to make sure we do JD Butterball up right here.
So trade Jen is a team name. Jared Goff.
This one's a little more difficult.
Yeah, this is a little more difficult. I mean, this guy has 2, 4, 5. He has your first here. Can you get Jared Goff in your first back?
Look, the
ideal.
thing is, I don't think there's a trade here that accomplishes our goal. Because as much as I love Henderson, you know, we can't say for certain if we can count on him in year one. Same with Hunter. So I think maybe Goff isn't ideal there. But you have a lot of good options there. I want to explore these other ideas where it's like the 26 first and Jalen Waddle.
Sure.
And see where we can kind of upgrade. I mean, that guy, does he have anyone? Who are we just looking at? Oh, no, he doesn't. I was going to say, like, he's collecting first-round picks like he's Thanos. Maybe we could look at him. Let's look at teams that have a bunch of first-round capital. So, Trad Egan. Well, that's not going to work. You have capital, obviously. Can we land our way into Justin Jefferson, maybe? So, we send those 2 26 firsts. We send Jalen Waddle. I mean, that can be your initial offer. I don't think that gets accepted. But 3 firsts is the going rate for Jefferson, and that's about 3 firsts. Maybe you can add in addition, you know, like a 26 second, if that doesn't work.
Yeah, that can work.
Something like that, just to get you started. Can we go to an Amon-Ra? That would be great. That's kind of like the first offer, but instead of the 2 firsts, it's the 1 first. So 26 first plus Waddle, can that get us to a Amon-Ra St. Brown? If not, what if we added like an Aaron Jones on top of that, or Brian Robinson? Can that get us to an Amon-Ra St. Brown? Because that would obviously be a big upgrade, and that would help us go out there and compete. It would give us a better starting lineup at that point. Don't really want to do AJ, but
No.
Nico, I think same
Nico
deal
can
for
work.
Nico, but you probably don't have to pay the extra running back for Nico.
26 first, Waddle for Nico. Yeah, that feels good.
Lad, I'm not opposed to.
I wonder if you can just do a 26 first for Lad, or first, or
You'd have to pay 2
or a
firsts
second or something.
for Lad, but maybe we can use Waddle in the upgrade there. It's maybe not the most ideal one. Puka Nakua, that would be like the same thing as the Jefferson deal. Maybe it's more realistic to expect something like that. But you could try like either the Amon-Ra or the Jefferson deal for Puka. and see if that's possible. Drake London would be the same thing as like what we just said for Lab McConkey, the 26th and the 1st for Drake London. Yeah, that would really give you, because right now you really don't have like one of these top names. We can look at the inverse of this too. So a 26 first and James Conner. What can that land us into? Like, I would pay 2 26 firsts and James Conner to go get like a Bijan. I don't think that's possible, but just throwing that out there as like an idea. Or Gibbs. Maybe more realistic is looking at a... Okay, so like a Bucky Irving is probably perfect in this scenario. So a 26 first plus Bucky, plus like a James Conner. Does that get you to Bucky Irving? I like that. Okay. Can you do it for Aaron Jones instead? I would prefer. But, you know, that could be great.
Yeah. It was all good. I like all these moves. I think this will definitely help you, Joshua. And please jump in at any time if you have an idea.
You can do the same type of offer for like an HN as well there, but those are really the options that you have there to kind of try and upgrade across the board. And then if you were to move off of May, that would give you more assets to kind of upgrade. Like if you don't move off of May, you can probably do 2 upgrades right now with your roster. But if you do move down from May, maybe that gives you the ability to do 3.
You can do that something, exactly.
And I would probably he says, do I do the May tear down first or start smaller? I would start with the other tear downs first before I do May. Yeah. Because if you can't get those other tear downs done, then maybe it makes more sense to keep them, right? So
that's exactly. Start small, see you can consolidate, use your 26 first, and see if you can get Lad or Nico, help your team, and just see how you go from there. But if not, then if you can't get any of these deals done that we kind of just highlighted here with all the first to get one of these wide receivers and running backs, then you can move on to May there. So
he says, I love it. Joshua. Thank you. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for the love and the support that you've shown to the channel this year. All right. So there's a super chat we're going to look at, and then I'm going to look at one other question in the chat here. What's up, Black Viper says, man, what do I have to do for y'all to look at my team and tell me what to do with Marvin Harrison? Very simple. In fact, if you want a direct answer to that, then you've just given me an opportunity to promote our playbook. If you want a team playbook, if you want us to dive into your team, it's actually super simple, guys. You can get your playbook, your review from us by becoming a promo code LAND. Annual Mother Flock. Remember, that'll give you a voucher that you can use through the Flock store. You can also go through this process and get this team review if you're not an annual member. It's the same process. It just costs a little bit more for non-annual members. Because when you become an annual member, you get the voucher, and then it's only a $7 upgrade to move it to the live tier. You got to move that slider when you're going to checkout to put it as a live team playbook. But yeah, you can either do that as a member with us or a member with a different person through the Flock store. That's how you can actually get a team review. But the question is, should you move Marvin and Tyreek Hill for Brian Thomas? I think we've answered this one before, no? I feel like we've had this. I think Black Viper, have you super chatted this before? I feel like you have.
I feel like he super chatted. I feel like we saw this yesterday on the Flock Fantasy site, and I think we said Marvin Harrison. I think what we said, but sorry to interrupt, is it all comes down to your team. And yeah, we can't give you a team review based off like, you know, the super chat here, but because we want context. But if you're in a smaller starting lineup, so if you're in a one quarterback start 7, super flex start 8 or 9, I think it makes sense to get Brian Thomas, especially if you have the depth to do so. But if you're in a bigger league, like a super flex start 11 or something, then you probably should keep a Marvin and a Tyreek Hill. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. Yeah. But Aki, you might about to tell him how he can actually sync his team up, right? So so Black Viper, we appreciate you donating here on YouTube, but in the future, because you said, hey man, I need to figure out what to do. What you can do if you have your sleeper or your teams on Sleeper, ESPN, or Yahoo, you can actually link your team to the Flock Fantasy website, and then we can have a look at not only your team but your whole league's team. So all you have to do is create an account. It's completely free. You don't have to pay for anything, obviously, if you want your question answered. You'll have to donate, of course, just like on YouTube. But to link your team and do all that is completely free. So if you haven't checked that out, it's just in full transparency. YouTube takes 30% of that super chat. So they can take 30% of that donation that you just gave right there, where we get a little bit more kickback on the Flock Fantasy side. But we appreciate you.
Also, if you were to link your team and my teams for free, you could then go through the site. You could go to the trade question feature, right? You could find the team that you're linked that you have a question about. It would automatically link your settings. You can set the trade up for us, whatever ends up being right. And then we would be able to actually look at your league. We would have access to it to help a little bit more. Obviously, it would.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't give the same attention and detail to a trade question as like a team playbook, but we could still help.
Yeah, we can give you other ideas. Like, I don't know if you see on your screen, see like the Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels one. We can kind of give you different trade scenarios that we would do there. But we appreciate you there either way here, Black Viper. But we do have another question here on the site.
I just wanted to quickly go to Commander just before we go to the site because he had a question that I think we can answer. He says, anyone in the chat able to help? First time using Flock Fantasy. Anyone able to explain how I get the voice review my team? Is it something to do with using code LAND on creation? So if you want to get a team playbook from us, there's two ways that you can do it, Commander. The first way is by becoming an annual Mother Flocker member. So if you haven't already, you can sign up with the promo code LAND, flockfantasy.com/land. It sounds like you've already done that, by the way. But what you need to do is go to my account, which you can see here at the top right, or if I remove the pathways, you can see at the bottom left as well. You see that My Account button right here? Right here. You go to My Account, and then you go to Edit Plan. And then you can choose, you have to be an annual to get the voucher, but you can choose to be an annual Mother Flocker member. You can click Subscribe Now there. That will give you a voucher that you can use through the Flock store, which we've shown you, right? So please let us know if you have any questions about that. And then obviously if you want it to be shown live on the stream, just slide that up to the live tier when you're at checkout. But hopefully that's helpful. Chair Force 1 here with a question. Let's have a look at this on the Flock site here.
Yeah, appreciate you, Chair Force 1. He says, your channel is the GOAT. 8-man, appreciate you. 8-man start 12, 0.5 tight end. Our PPR Superflex 5-point passing touchdowns. 5. Wow, not 4.
Okay.
Not 6, 5. So you're sending away a 26 first, Bo Nix, Amaron Hampton, and you're getting Jaden Daniels here in an 8-man league.
Yeah. See, the 8-man league is the only reason you're considering this because it's such a small format, right? And this would
bottom on your league here as well.
This would give you Daniels and Nix. I don't think this really accomplishes a goal.
It doesn't. You kind of put yourself in that same position here, looking at your team, Bo Nix, Geno Smith. It doesn't help your team. It helps you tearing up from Jaden Daniels. Sure, with Bo Nix, that ceiling's higher, but like you're still short on that QB2.
Yeah, you
and that's
kind of
probably
need to do
the hardest
opposite
part
of this, right? Like you need to go through your league and you need to package like Saquon and Hubbard and Geno and do an upgrade somewhere. You know, like the obviously this is good because you get Jaden Daniels. We all love Jaden Daniels, but you're still stuck with the same shit quarterback too, and you still have a shit ton of running backs. Sorry, excuse my French. But I don't really think this accomplishes the goal that you want it to. It doesn't actually. It improves the starting lineup necessarily because you have Jaden Daniels, which is better than Bo Nix, but your quarterback too is still dog shit, and you still have a bunch of running backs that you can't even start anyway, right? Well, it's start 12, so right now you're starting Nix, Geno, Saquon, Hampton. I guess a Monra makes it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I just don't think it really accomplishes the goal that you have in mind there. I'd rather use like that first and Hampton and Geno to go get, you know, like a Jalen Hurts or something to pair with Bo Nix.
Yeah. I think what you're struggling at is your QB2, not necessarily you needing to upgrade.
Yeah, you don't need to upgrade Bo Nix. You need to upgrade the quarterback 2 spot. So,
yeah. But appreciate you. Thank you so much for that super chat here. But all right, let's go to the next team, which I think is Darth.
Yes, it is Darth, and obviously Darth is with us now. We don't have access to his entire league, but as you know, we mentioned when he submitted, we can still give him great ideas. It just might not be as specific as the other teams that are able to link. But go ahead and have a look at the context here.
Yeah. Once again, appreciate you there, Darth. Please jump in at any point in time. You are here with us. The more context that you give us with a team like this, the easier and better the review could be for us. So please jump in at any point in time.
And I'll just say just quickly, if you can type out what picks you have. Well, you said you have you said you have the 103, no second round. Okay, so I'm assuming all you have is the 103 this year. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Yeah, and it says a 1 quarterback, 10 teams, start 8. If I'm reading that, understanding that correctly, because obviously you weren't able to link your team
3,
here.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and it looks like you don't have to start a tight end. And for offense, it's actually start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've never seen a league that small.
Right, so there's no tight end or flex spots. So it's 2 running back. So wait. Yeah, this is a really small league because we're not looking at kicker and defense. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
This is the smallest league we've ever seen.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You really only start 6, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't even have a start 6, but that's okay. What we can do, we can definitely modify it. We're going to call that heavy hitters still.
Heavy hitters plus. Just call that heavy hitters plus. And it's a 1 quarterback, by the way, not super flex.
So 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receivers, and that's it. No tight end, no flex. So in reality, this is what your lineup looks like. 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll start 6, which is
I have it here. I'll put it in.
You put it in? Okay.
That's what she said. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. Start 6. In reality, again, the kicker defense, we're not going to really take that into consideration. Heavy hitter plus. Yeah, so that's going to be important for us to know. But let's keep going here.
Yeah, having a look at this team here, you can see Drake May at the quarterback position. I also see that you have Dak Prescott, C.J. Stroud there. At the running back position, I see Chase Brown, Rashad White with Big O Roscoe, Jordan Mason, Jaden Wright there. And really, that's it at the running back position. At the wide receiver position, I can see CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors,
nice.
And also names like Cooper Kupp, Adonai Mitchell, Calvin Ridley, Cedric Tillman, Dontavion Wicks are all on your team there. And I guess some other players to mention. You also have Brock Bowers. You can start a wide receiver and tight end, so that's pretty significant.
I will say just quickly, unless there's some sort of premium here, do we see that in the...
We don't see that.
So let us know if there's a premium, because he has like the least amount of power in a format like this, but he's still very helpful. But all I'm saying is, in this particular format, he probably has the least power on your lineup, because you don't have to start a tight end, right? Like, the reason Brock is such a superpower is because everyone has to start a tight end in most leagues, not in yours.
Exactly.
So it doesn't give you that positional advantage. No premium either. So that just... He's the least valuable in this format than he is in any format, but he's still valuable.
Yeah, and we didn't read the context here, so let's have a look. No tight end or flex spots. All 3 wide receiver spots can be a wide receiver or tight end. Have the 103 this year. No second rounders this year or next. There's a proposal to add a tight end slot and non-QB flex spot. Don't know if it will pass or not. If Hampton is gone by the 103, probably will take Tet, maybe Henderson, but leaning Tet. And that's pretty big to know there, because if that tight end proposal does go through, that gives you a massive advantage, because you instantly already have the tight end 1. If that does potentially come on, and that somehow becomes a premium, you should be pushing for that.
I would say the best thing you can do for your roster is not going to be any trade that we're about to suggest to you. It's going to be to advocate for the tight end position to be its own position. That would be a game changer for you. And you can even just ask them, honestly, you don't even need to ask them to make another flex. Even if you just do like an additional tight end spot, you would be in a great position in this league. That would raise you. Like, again, we don't know where the rankings are because we don't know the other teams in your league. But let's say you're currently ranked 6 overall. That would probably put you more towards like 3rd overall if you even made like a small move like that. So, I would argue with the way your lineups are currently constructed, you have a far bigger need at running back than wide receiver. I have Henderson and Hunter and Tet in the same tier. So I would be a much bigger advocate to going Henderson.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing here because you don't have a running back too.
Yeah. No, you don't.
Add Travion Henderson, you are a massive contender in this league. Even with Brock Bowers at that wide receiver position, he'll probably only get 2 yes votes. Me and the guy who has McBride.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for anyone else. Like if you were doing that proposal to me and I had Ben Sinnott as my only tight end, I'm like, fuck no, absolutely not. That's not happening.
Yeah. But yeah, that 103, I think, like Zach was kind of getting to, is probably has to be Henderson. And then if it doesn't work out, if it's not Henderson and Marion's not there, then maybe can you trade back and get Quinshawn, but trade back 2 spots if Quinshawn is not there anymore.
Yeah, I agree. The path for me is either Hampton or Henderson or trade back for Judkins. And the only way you could do that is if you knew that everyone preferred Hunter and T-Mac over Judkins anyway. So you would go from like 103 and you would try and go to like the 104 and like a plus on top, or like a player swap, the 105 with a plus on top. But again, you would have to have that insider knowledge that Judkins would fall to one of these. Well, obviously he would fall to the 104. It's more about the 105. Like, do you know if he would fall to 105, the 106? But yeah, this team, like, respectfully, you can't have Rachaad White as your RB2 and have no need at wide receiver and say, you know, yeah, I don't need Henderson. I just think that's a much bigger need. Because if you look at your wide receiver room right now, you've got Bowers, Lamb, and Neighbor starting. And on your bench, you still have quality starters like Ridley. I guess it's not quality. But like you have startable names like Ridley and Kupp. So I think your much bigger need is at running back. I love Jordan Mason, by the way. So that could definitely be something. But
yeah,
you have to think about the starting lineup in a league like this where there really isn't much point to depth. I mean, in a start 6, depth is just absolutely it just doesn't matter. In a start 7, depth doesn't matter, but in a start 6, it's as least valuable as it ever could be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I'm just gonna help Ellen. Give me a sec, but continue.
Yeah, that's okay. Cade says normally y'all are BPA and rookie drafts and trade for need. Why the difference for this team? Yeah, this is what I don't understand though, Cade, because we, all of our rankings are public, guys, and we've never had T-Mac in a different tier than Henderson. You know what I mean? So I guess I don't understand that argument. It's always been Henderson and T-Mac in the same tier. And we hear that a lot. I'm not trying to pick on Cade. I just hear that all the time, and I just don't understand. Like, all of my rankings are publicly available for everyone, even through video format. But yeah, again, not trying to pick on you, Cade. I just hear it all the time, and I just don't understand it. But yeah, I think that's probably your best move. And again, I think a trade back would make some sense as well, if you can again have the insider knowledge that a Judkins or a Henderson are going to be available. So yeah, WG says, as an old NBA old head, T will never be T-Mac. Yeah, I agree. I don't like calling him T-Mac, but his mom, did you guys not see the interview with it where his mom was like, we named him Tetaria, so you're not going to call him Tet. She thinks it's disrespectful or something. Anyway. Yeah, exactly. Scribbles defined it well, but anyway. Joshua says, everyone in the chat buy a playbook. I just got Lad. Hell yeah. So what did the deal end up being, Joshua? But anyway, so the 103, okay, so like if you went down to the 104, could you net like a 2-0 like an early second type of return in 2025? Is that something that you could do? Can you get an early second to move back one spot? Can you get an early second to move back 2 spots to the 105. Pretty much, if you can guarantee a Judkins being there or a Henderson being there, then that's an ideal outcome for a team like yours. Now, unfortunately, again, like Drake May, we can't really tear down from because it's a 1 quarterback league. So you're really not going to have any power there. And we don't really want to tear down from anyone. If anything, we want to find a way to tier up. So I'd be curious if you could send, like, let's try and send Cooper Kupp, Rashad White, and CJ Stroud, right? So Cooper Kupp, Rashad White, CJ Stroud. Can you send that to a team for a running back upgrade? Okay. And you send that to a team that is quarterback needy or wide receiver needy with running backs to spare. Okay. So hypothetically, you do a deal like this. Now, be realistic. Okay. You're not going to go out there and land a Bijan with this deal. But I think the realistic names are like James Cook, right? Like James Cook would probably make sense. Ken Walker, I think that's kind of the range you're in. Even an RJ Harvey after the draft, or maybe that means you can you send all this away to someone who has like the 107 to the 108 if you can get Harvey there. Maybe the 107. I don't think he'll fall past 107 to 1 quarterback. But yeah, like the James Cooks of the world, the Kyron Williams, you know, that's the kind of impact you want to make. And then honestly, if you make a deal like this, then sure, go T-Mac, go Tet, go Travis, because then you're actually improving your lineup overall. Does that make sense? And look, if it's not Cooper Kupp that they want, you can't make it Neighbors or Lamb. That doesn't make any sense. But you know, do they have an obsession with a Calvin Ridley? Do they have an obsession with the Cedric Tillman? Any of these names you can throw into these deals and interchange them to figure out that running back position, right?
All right, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Had to help with the groceries.
That's okay. Darth says, did you see my previous comment? He says, I was thinking about offering my 26 first and the 103 for the 102 and the 202, and then I could get Hampton, a wide receiver, at the 202. No, I wouldn't do that personally. No, because I still, like, maybe you can justify that if this class is top heavy at running back and there's no depth, but this is one of the deeper classes at running back we've had. So you shouldn't give a random 26 first to land the 202 in this class. You know what I mean? Like Henderson is still in a lot of classes. Henderson is the 102, by the way, with the capital that he got.
I have
good. Probably not for an early first, Alex. Probably not for an early first.
Not sure if you went through any other admin stuff or gave him a pathway as your. I know you.
No, I think this is a contender though for sure. Sorry, I didn't say anything, but
no, that's totally fine. This is definitely a contender. That's kind of where I was gonna go. I think untouchables. You have Malik Neighbors, CeeDee Lamb. In a league like this, I guess we could potentially put Brock Bowers, but I think with the tight end voting coming into play, let's just put him as a hold. In a league like this, Darth. Okay, so we're gonna put Brock Bowers as a hold, and then I guess we can also put, gosh, I don't even know who else to put as a hold here in such a small league like this.
Yeah, and I don't really like. Did you say Jalen Wright already? Sorry,
I haven't. I haven't said any of those guys.
Okay, I would say Jalen Wright, Roman Wilson, Jordan Mason. Those are the names on your bench that I actually like.
Yeah.
As in, like, they could improve value. Like, Calvin Ridley's never going to improve. Well, he might become like Terry McLaurin, but it's unlikely.
Yeah, Jalen Wright. And then drops Dontavion Wicks.
You can drop Wicks if there's anyone on the waiver wire. Tillman I would hold. But you could drop Wicks. And maybe Rashawn. I would rather keep Rashawn with your need at running back, but
With the
maybe
need, yeah, I
Wicks is
think,
the only drop we'll
yeah,
say there.
yeah. So for holds is Brock Bowers, Jalen Wright, and who was the other guy that you wanted to put there?
Uh,
Did you say Roman?
yeah,
Okay.
Jordan Mason I said as well.
And Jordan Mason, yeah, okay.
But yeah,
Draft capital, you don't have any of your second, so I'm just gonna put that at B minus.
I think that's the main kind of like direction we would go with a team like this.
Grade B plus.
Unless they actually decide to expand the rosters, then you really like your depth is really not important at all. And I imagine your waiver wire has some interesting names on it anyway. But let us know, Darth, if there's anything we didn't answer that you wanted an answer on. And
Yeah,
just to
appreciate
Cade,
you.
I'm sorry if I came off like the wrong way when I was talking about my tiers. Wasn't an attack at you, by the way. Just it happens all the time.
Zach's going off on somebody. Don't
No.
let him talk to you like that, Cade.
You
Don't
were
let
here.
him.
You were here when I said it.
I must have.
You must have.
I must have not. No, I must have not taken it like in a wrong way.
No, I
that's
know.
why.
Just Cade didn't comment again, and I just want to make sure he knows I wasn't, just, calling. him
Right.
out or
Okay. Because
something.
I didn't take the what you were talking about earlier as the thing. I thought there was something else that popped up.
No. That was it. That was it.
Okay.
I just want to
awesome.
make
Darth,
sure I'm, not rubbing anyone the wrong way. That's what she said.
We appreciate you, Darth. Thank you so much for the support, man. You should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours.
He said, if we add a flex, do I trade CD? Darth, even if you add a flex, you're a start 7, which is still the smallest lineup we have in our playbook. So no, there's not really a scenario. If you guys add like 3 or 4 flexes, we can talk about it, but there's not a scenario right now with the way it sounds your league is trending that we're going to tear down from players.
That's such a good point. That's such a good point. Darth, like, this is our normal, just so you can have a visualization, this is our smallest lineup we have in our playbook.
The start 7.
That's a start 7. You have a start 6. So if you get an extra flex, or even if the tight end position is put into that, still consider that as a start 7.
Yeah.
Because that's the exact same thing. Now, if you're telling me you add a tight end position and then 2 flex, I would then say, come back to us, get another review.
Yeah.
We can figure it out then, because it changes a lot of things after that. But what you have right now, this depth that you have right now, is totally fine. With the team that you have constructed. But we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the support. You should be receiving your playbook on the Flock Fantasy message system. So just go under my review, and then there's like a little message system there to your right. That's where your playbook would be within the next 24 to 48 hours. So definitely stay tuned for that. Be on the lookout for that. But we appreciate you. Customized to everything that we drew up here for you today. But all love, man.
Yes. Appreciate you big time. I think we have one more team playbook right now. I mean, we still have room if you guys want to get your playbook in today. But as of right now, I think there is one more live playbook, and that is Badger Kyle. Yes, who is live. I just had to double check. So again, there is still spots if you guys want to be right after this review that we're about to do. You can get your team playbook. Y'all been watching this entire stream. We've been helping people come up with ideas and customizing, their game plan for the offseason. You can get yours by becoming a promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member. That will give you a voucher that you can use through the Flock store to get a team playbook, a team review from us. Just make sure you slide that tier up to live if you want it done live. That link is in the pinned comment. Kate says, no, you're good, man. I knew it was the same tier value for you guys. I just normally see you guys option for T-Mac and Hunter at 103. Seems like it was interesting. Well, I've had plenty of you guys have seen a lot of our rookie drafts, right? And in plenty of them, I've gone Henderson at the 103. But
yeah, we definitely have. I think I did that 2 weeks ago, in a different.
Are you watching any sports at the moment?
I have it in the background. Yes.
The only reason I ask is because this is very big for you, and I don't know if you were going to watch it later or watch it live. I know you're have to watch it live.
Nah, I'm definitely watching it. I'm definitely watching it live. Okay. But like we've been here before, where we were up.
Well, you 14. Were up way bigger when the fourth quarter started. Why is it a 12-point lead right now? What has happened?
They hit like 2 threes in a row, and we haven't been. We just turned over the ball, and they hit 2 threes, and I was down by 12 or something like that. But we just got to control it. We called a timeout, which I'm glad, and we just got to end one. Let's fucking go, Josh.
Anyway, Kay, we appreciate you. You're a big part of the community, man. Appreciate you. All right, Kyle's here. Let's go to Kyle's team playbook here.
Kyle is here. He's here in the chat. Okay, Kyle. Okay, appreciate you, Kyle. Please jump in at any point in time. 2 quarterback, 12 team, start 9 is your team, is meat and potatoes there, which I'll put there in the chat. He says, coming out of a rebuild, just traded the 202 and a 26 first for Nico. Thinking Genty, Hampton, and Hunter / Tet at the 104 need wide receiver. Any preferences between those two, which we'll talk about? I'm hesitant to down tier from my stud, but interested in best pathway forward to compete in 2025 here. And you're currently ranked 2nd out of 12 in this 12-man league. And let's have a look at this team here, shall we? And this is
no first in 26, by the way.
No first in 26 here. All right, at the quarterback position, Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy, and Sam Darnold, which I think that's a good quarterback room. That's all you need. At the running back position, no one to really speak about, so let's not waste any time there. You can start up to 4 wide receivers in a league like this. Puka Nacua, Nico Collins, Jaden Reed, Jalen Coker are your starting 4, and the depth really gets shaky from there with Brock Bowers. But the good thing is that you have the 101, the 102, and the 104 here, which is not bad at all with a team like this.
Still not anywhere near the depth I would hope for a team that doesn't have their first in 26.
Yeah, because that definitely kind of puts you in that windows open pathway.
The trade that they made where they sent the 202 and a 26 first for Nico is actually very affordable for Nico Collins. So I think that trade in itself makes a ton of sense, but your depth is, I don't want to be mean, but it's dog shit. It is really bad. But let's assume you go Genty, Hampton, right? So your starting lineup would be Daniels, McCarthy, Genty, Hampton, Puka, Collins, Bowers. That 7 is ridiculously great. But then we have to start 2 more, and injuries can happen. So we have to keep in mind, right? So then it's like, do we rely on Reed? Maybe we can rely on Reed. I don't see a running back that you can rely on currently. That's not draftable. The 104, hopefully that can be a player we can rely on. But Watson isn't available. Dell isn't available. Does Coker keep a role? Wilson? Maybe you put Kraft into there. You know what I mean? So I would say it's an incredible start 7. Just the depth is really shot. But it is a start 9. So maybe it would be worse if you just had a bunch of like average names, in that scenario because of the format. But
yeah, let's walk through it then. Let's have a look at some admin, and then we can get to the chalkboard here because that's probably the biggest thing. Untouchables, a lot of untouchables here. Jaden Daniels, Puka Nacua. Brock Bowers is also an untouchable, and we can even throw that 101 Ashton Genty, but we could potentially be trading that out if we really wanted to get more depth in a team like this. Some holds, Jalen Coker, J.J. McCarthy are your 2 top holds here, and then a lot of drops. Javon Baker, Manuel Wilson, Will Shipley, Michael Wilson are the 4 drops that I will put on this team here. Main pathway, since you do have your first, I guess we could put you in the windows open, trying to get you to contend as much as possible there.
Yeah, I would like to more go a methodical build towards contend, but without our first, we're not going to really benefit at all from not contending this year. So
yeah, draft capital with 3 first-round picks and a 2nd and 26. I guess we can put it at an A- B+ type range. Since you don't have your first and 26, I'm just going to put B+ with that in mind. That knocks you a little bit with your team grade being, I see this as like a B-. I think you get Ashton Genty, Amarion Hampton. Your depth is a little bit short, but then can we tier back from the 104? Can we tier back from hell, even the 102? Like we keep the 101, but tier back from the 102, 104. Get Travion or Quinshawn. Get a Matthew Golden if we get an extra first. Get a some of these players that we can build off with here, because you're just short a couple players that you can get in this draft here. But go ahead, take us through the chalkboard here.
Yeah, I got a really real clear game plan for a team like this. I feel very confident in what your offseason can look like, and I love the bones that you got so far. And we're going to try and focus on building out the roster with a combination of picks at tier down, ideally. So if you were to stick and pick, obviously like Genty, Hampton, and then any one of these guys at the 104 is great. You can make an argument for either way. I mean, your wide receiver depth is shit. And so would your running back depth after if you went Genty Hampton, your running back depth would also be shit. So basically, like Genty and Hampton put your wide receiver and running backs kind of on an even playing field. But then again, the depth is still shit. So that's why I would, in an ideal world, I would like to either tier down from like the 102 once or from the 104 once. I keep seeing Judkins at the 107 consensus. So I would just be curious to see if maybe one tier down gives us the pieces that we're missing, you know, or even, yeah. Okay.
I think in tier downs like this, at least from the way I'm thinking, I'm hoping for 2-for-1s.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
Can I get the 103 and an extra second or
well,
a player?
Even the 103 and like a James Conner, or James Conner might not be enough to make a move like that. You might need something else, but yeah.
But in that same build, right? You know, can I get the 105 and the 202 if he has it, just so we can get some extra capital in this draft and then get some players that we can continue to build around.
Interesting development here. He said that Judkins is going to go early. It's a Cleveland. People are from Cleveland in this league, so that would make me say let's not move back from the 102 then, because we want to guarantee at least 2 running backs, right? And if we move back from the 102, you know that there's only one guy left, and that's Henderson, and you can't guarantee where he's going to fall in the draft. So I think we probably rule out moving back from the 102 then. Unless you can find a running back. So let's still look at it. Okay, anyway, what we need to do now is just look at where all these picks lie, okay? So the 103 is Bob the Rebuilder. So, for example, he has a James Cook. I wonder if we can go like 102 to the 103 plus James Cook. Well, the 103 is unrealistic because he already wants Judkins, so he's probably fine, it sounds like. So let's look at the 105, wherever that lands. And it wouldn't have just been Connor, by the way. We would have Cook. We would have figured something out, but the 105 is owned by, my God, it's the last team. Okay.
Of course it is.
So, all right. This is difficult because like the 105 in Etienne doesn't mean anything. The 105 in Tracy doesn't mean anything. But
I mean, let's think about it though. Kyle, what are the chances Henderson is actually there though? Because at the 105, if Henderson is there, we can guarantee that. Like the way I'm seeing this draft, Ashton, Omarion, either then Quinchon, like you said, then it's most likely going to be that 104 with Travis Hunter, potentially.
If you know Henderson's going to be at the 105, you can afford to do
like 105, 112.
105, 112, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then use that 112 on a veteran, whether that's running back or wide receiver. But you have to
guarantee that. But you have to guarantee that you're going to be getting Travion Henderson at the 105. This doesn't work if that's the case.
That almost feels like an undersell of Hampton, though.
Sure, I can definitely understand that.
Maybe you can add like the 202 into that. If that is not doable, then can you ask for a Jameson Williams? You know, and then you could send back. You don't really have anything, but like, can you send back Jalen Coker? You know.
Yeah, he said he will probably be at the 105, but the guy wants Ward and knows no one will draft the quarterback before him.
Well, that's good because if he wants Ward, then the 106 is in play.
Yeah, I mean, let's
look at the 106. The 106 here, this might be ideal because Chuba Hubbard is like an ideal ad for you. So even if you just go 104 and get Chuba Hubbard on top, and then you send, like a, well, I mean, I'd send a second to do this again if I knew that I could land Henderson there. Yeah, but actually, if you do a deal like this, I apologize. You actually don't even need to guarantee that because you already have Hubbard and Genty then.
Sure.
And then you can negotiate for a different running back if you want with, I mean, let's say you draft a T-Mac or you draft a Hunter. You have still negotiations that you can make after the draft. So, again, this is why I was saying, like, if you make a move like this, it gives you the ability to be a little more flexible because you are adding a running back in return. Now, obviously, where is that team again? We would love to make that Bucky Irving, but you can only really do that if it's the 102. So if you go from the 102 down to the 106, add Bucky Irving, and then send like your second in 26, right? That would be the only way you could go from the 102. But also, in this deal, what am I even talking about? You're already going to get Genty and Hampton.
Genty and Hampton.
There's literally no risk in that
with the
deal.
104. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree.
No risk at all in that whatsoever. Now, if you're going to go just from the 104 to the 106, we've talked about that. I wouldn't do for Jacoby. Nothing else really makes sense. I mean, you could
107.
You could rationalize it again if you knew for certain that Henderson's going to be there. You could do the 106 and the 206 for the 104 straight up. But again, you would have to guarantee that Henderson is there. Actually, again, I don't know why I keep saying that. Sorry, you wouldn't need to because you would still have Hampton and Genty in that scenario. I don't know why I keep going full dumbass here, but yeah. The 102 to the 106. See, I don't think anything really makes sense there outside of the Bucky Irving deal that we talked about. The 104, where's the 105? At the bottom, right? Yeah.
Your 105 is at the bottom, yeah.
Yeah, nothing makes sense there because yeah.
I hear you, Mike. It could definitely be RJ or Caleb. But there's just no guarantee. I think that's a bigger risk of not knowing where they're going to be, right? I think like with a league like this, maybe
we love RJ and Caleb. I don't have the same confidence in a third round running back in Caleb Johnson than I do a top 40 pick in Judkins. So you're going to have to ask for a much bigger return, and the historical hit rates are not as sticky. Cade says, oh, wait, where's Kyle? Sorry. I appreciate all you guys. I just want to make sure I hear Kyle here. He says he'll probably be at the 105, but yeah, the guy wants Ward and knows no one else dropped the quarterback before him. Yeah. But I think these are all realistic deals there. Now, I definitely think you can go the route of veteran for your second, right? Trying to get the Joe Mixons here, the David Montgomerys with your seconds, the Devontae Adams, I don't really know if I feel the same way about Mike Evans there, but I mean,
yeah, it's tough.
The Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, for me, I also like Cortland Sutton there personally. I'm not necessarily sure if there's anyone else there. Chris Godwin, I think, did we mention Chris Godwin? I also really like Shakira. But maybe
Sure.
you can do 2/3 if you have that.
You'd have to send a second for Shakir.
But those are guys that I really like personally. Like I love Cortland, Shakira.
So that was very complicated, and I apologize, but hopefully it made sense as we were putting it together.
He says
you have a ton of flexibility here. You just kind of have to have certain outcomes without your own first. So.
Yeah. He says been trying to move Kraft and Darnold, by the way, absolutely no interest, and that's okay.
Yeah, there's no premium in this league.
If no one's interested, just wait. I would personally, Kyle, with Sam Darnold, I'm wanting to sell him maybe in season while he on a high, trying to get somebody else I feel a little bit more comfortable with. But other than that, I think we have gone and done everything for this team to put you in the best position. But please let us know if you have any last minute questions here. You should be receiving your playbook on the Flock Fantasy message system, customized to your playbook within 24 to 48 hours. But we appreciate you and the support, man. Please, once again, let us know if you have any last minute questions here. Looks like we're going to a game 6.
Yeah, I love it.
And you're telling me there's a chance.
Well, now all the pressure goes back onto Indiana. Because
I know, but
it almost becomes a must-win for Indiana. Because if you don't win Game 6, you got to go back to New York for Game 7. So there's also the pressure of crumbling and the thought of potentially choking that lead. It becomes a huge must. The pressure isn't on you guys as much anymore. Obviously, you have to win, but the pressure is on them.
Oh, dude, it's just so nerve-wracking. I don't see how. Yeah, I guess the pressure is on them. I guess you know more about like playoff basketball.
From a mental battle perspective, the pressure is they're feeling way more pressure than you guys will next game.
Yeah, definitely have to win, and I think a lot of their momentum comes from the crowd, even though they came back in Game 1. Like right now, think about it. We'll be tied in the series if we win Game 1. Gosh, dude, like we're there, we're fighting in these games.
Yep.
We just lost that big lead, and if we can come back to the Garden for Game 7, I'm flying to New York. I don't give a shit. I'm leaving you. No,
we appreciate everybody for being here with us on today's stream. Last thing I will say is we are releasing content over on our redraft channel. In fact, the video that we released this week was pretty much a Dynasty video. Now you have to keep in mind that it was catered towards like redraft formats and redraft ADP and that kind of stuff, but definitely relevant for all of our Dynasty people out there. Go check out our latest video on the channel. But we are posting a video a week there right now, and then obviously we'll ramp up as the season gets closer, so go check that out if you want to watch more content from us. But Commander Burger says, great show again, lads. I'm looking forward to my voucher on Flock and getting the Flocker monthly sub. Love it, my friend. Love it.
Hey, man, we appreciate you.
Just keep in mind, with the monthly sub, you don't get those team review vouchers, right? But we have a ton of monthly subs who love their membership as well. So it just comes down to what you want to do, okay?
Yeah, huge love, man. Thank you so much for the support.
Appreciate you. And we got his Commander Burger. We got his username, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's just Commander Burger. Commander Burger, if you're here with us, maybe stay on with us. Maybe Zach can give that to you right now, just so you don't have to wait throughout the weekend. But I'm pretty sure his name is Commander Burger. I think he put it in the chat earlier. Let me see if I can find it. I wish you can search people's comments in your chat.
All right, I've done that now. So that should reflect within the next 72 hours. Definitely by the next time we're streaming, it'll be there. Honestly, 24 hours. It should probably be done in 24 hours.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
I appreciate you, man.
Definitely appreciate you. Sorry, give me 1 second.
No, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Someone mentioned in the chat that they want to jump into an Origins tourney, so I'm going to do that real fast. If you want to jump in, there's one spot remaining. Little Origins
let me
tourney
see.
to end the... You actually don't have to if you just want to watch the next game, but...
I mean, it's 40 seconds left, so it's not that big of a deal.
There is currently one spot remaining in this Origins tourney, so might as well jump into one here. To end our week, might as well end with a draft. Appreciate y'all for being here with us. So maybe we will slightly extend the stream here, because as soon as someone said, you want to draft? I was like, yes, I'm an animal. I have a problem. There's a real issue. And my issue is that I love drafting and I can't stop doing it. If you feel the same way, I just put a link in the chat for FastDraft. If you have never played in FastDraft before, best ball style format, you can download the app on any platform. When you do, use the promo code LAND. We'll match your deposit up to $50. That is 10 free Origins tourneys on us.
And we'll send you our rookie report, our season rankings after you complete your first contest as a thank you. And then if you're a member of the Flock site, DM us, because I am creating a group chat. There's a Discord now for FastDraft where people are drafting together. And I also want to give you a trade question voucher as a thank you for signing up as well. But Badaki's at the 102 there. You went Cameron Ward.
Cameron Ward as the Knicks final scores 111-94, and Halibut's smiling, walking away. And I don't like that, because the last time a person did that, it was Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
That's the MVP, though, baby.
Smacked him.
That's
he
the
is the
MVP.
MVP. He is the MVP.
All right, so you went Cam Ward at the 102 there. And again, in these type of contests, some of you guys might not have seen us in Origins yet. You just saw RJ Harvey go at the 105. That is not uncommon in an Origins tourney. In fact, it's becoming very common, because the only question you really have to answer in these type of tourneys, is I'll take T-Mac here, is who scores the most points in year one, right? It's a best ball style format. You draft 6 rookies, but the top 4 get entered into your lineup each and every week. And you don't really have the time to be patient on players, right? Like the Darts of the world, the Igbukas of the world, most of these tight ends. You don't really have the time to be patient with them, because you're wanting to score the most points this year in this sort of format. So honestly, I'm surprised to see Dart go there at the 110. That's not very common in this type of format. Just don't see him starting many games, but yeah. And think about like the players that would have been league winners last year. Like if you drafted a Bucky Irving in round 3 of this Origins tourney, that would have been ridiculous.
Well.
Jalen McMillan was huge.
Yeah.
So I started off there with T-Mac, and gonna come back here, and this is where you ask your question, like who scores the most points in year one. I think I feel the most confident of the upside of a Cam Scadaboo. Like, can he lead your backfield in New York? I don't know, but I know for sure Igbuka is gonna struggle with target share. I don't know how much I can count on tight ends in year one. So you just ask a different set of questions in a tourney like this. It is not tight end premium. It is full PPR. But in tight end premium, definitely make it easier to take those tight ends earlier.
Yeah, it is definitely. But I get what you're saying here. All right, Trey Harris, Bashul Tootin off the board here. We've been seeing a lot of these tight ends fall, and I kind of like going the Tyler Warrens of the world here if Watts doesn't take him. I like Tyler Warren's upside coming into this offense, even if it's Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson kind of producing in year one. Obviously, they love this guy. What really hype about Tyler Warren is like that little, and then he goes, shouldn't have said anything. I jinxed myself.
Well, you never know who's watching the stream.
Watts, if you're watching the stream, I hate you.
No, I actually think you and I were on the same page last year about Adonai Mitchell, and we got a lot of hate in our rankings. Like, how the hell can you have Adonai Mitchell that low? Didn't even have him in the top 2 rounds, and people didn't understand. It was all about thinking about the way Anthony Richardson facilitates an offense and how Adonai Mitchell can score fantasy points in that. I don't think it's the same type of problem with a Tyler Warren. There's a lot more intermediate game. You saw a lot of Josh Down games that were decent, right? I think Tyler Warren is more integrated into the game plan that makes a lot of sense for the Colts, where I don't have those same questions that I had with an Adonai Mitchell. So
and Adonai and you have to think about the draft capital as well. Adonai was a 3rd round pick, if I'm not
second.
mistaken.
He was second.
Was the 2nd round? Okay. And Tyler Warren was top 15. So I think there's a big difference, and they've been looking for a tight end for years, wanting to integrate a tight end into this offense for, I would probably say,
love the best pick. That sucks.
For so long. Yeah, Best was such a good pick there. Since when did Anthony Richardson facilitate an offense? He didn't. He hasn't. I think that's the problem, and I think that's why.
Yeah,
and I think that's why we can potentially see someone like Daniel Jones, even though we've seen him facilitate an offense poorly, but he has produced fantasy relevant players in a short span.
And even he is more of a guarantee in the intermediate game,
Exactly, because he has a better. If you when we're talking about talent as a whole, I think we can all agree Anthony Richardson is the more talented, has a higher ceiling. But if we're thinking about someone that can just can throw a ball to a wide open player, it's going to be Daniel Jones. Out of Anthony Richardson.
He'd be top 24. Oh, you mean in that quarterback room, right?
I'm just talking about in that
right,
quarterback
okay, sure,
room,
sure.
not in
Yeah, sure.
not in the
No,
NFL.
yeah, he's probably number 1 on the Colts in that category. Kevin says he just saw Jackson Dart go 103 in a 12-team superflex. That's crazy.
So another tight end here.
Oh, Lucas is in with us. I love that. Where are you at, Lucas? Oh, you're obviously at 4 spot. Lucas Bishop.
Jalen Milroe.
Duh.
I took a chance there with Jalen Milroe there. Okay, you know what? Let's continue going tight ends. Not ideal, but
No, 3 tight ends.
Yeah. The New York Knickerbockers. Something special is happening at the Garden.
All the pressure is.
Can we do it now? Sneak good vibes. It's on Sunday morning for us. Sunday morning, Saturday night.
Lucas says, first draft with you guys. I'm happy to make it. I'm happy that we're able to get in there with you.
We appreciate you, man. Hell yeah, that's huge love. Welcome through.
See Cajun there as well. What's funny is there was only 1 spot when we joined. I think Cajun was already in the tourney. He was already drafting tonight. Or maybe you're in the chat with us, Cajun. I think he was already drafting tonight and enjoying himself, and then we joined him.
Seen. Did we see Tex Cajun in
I don't
the
think so.
Today?
No, I don't think so.
No, he said F us. He's trying to win some money.
I don't blame him.
Gosh, imagine if we win, it'll just be I think it's funny, guys. I don't know, you guys know Flock, right? And like 2 years ago he won like 125,000 on fast draft. Not on fast draft, but on underdog. Imagine if we win the $50,000 tourney. It's like, I don't know if you got guys, but like we won $50,000 on this app last year. So like we are the best.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's gonna be funny. That's gonna be the promo next year if we win, guaranteed. Zach is gonna put in all his videos. I won $50,000, but so can you.
Yeah. Let's win as much money as we can. That's all I care about.
Yeah, and I don't know, what is it for Origins? I think it's 10 or 15, but I think the other one I'm talking about in Flex 4 is 50. Yeah.
I went Will Howard at the 407 there. Jarquez Hunter, DJ Giddens, Jordan James come off the board. Trevor Etienne. And now we've got Groovy on the clock there. Tone and Tone 20. I'll definitely go Taj if he's available next. If not, I'll probably keep getting the JCM exposure up. Oh, I am on the board, so maybe I shouldn't have said anything, but I'll go Taj.
So you're saying there's a chance?
How about them New York Knicks? How about them?
I hate it. I hate to live not that, let me rephrase that. I love to live, but I hate to like have this hope and then we just get blown out by 40 points in game 6. I'm just like, what was that for?
Yeah.
You know, that's what, if we lose by 1, great. We fought to the end. But if we lose by 40, it's like, we should have just lost in game 4. You know?
Yeah.
Or game 5, excuse me. We should just lost in game 5. So that they better not do us dirty.
If I remember right, like your depth is pretty shit in New York, right? Like you guys.
But our bench
that's a Thibs way, is it not? Like starting.
But our bench has stepped up in the playoffs though. Like our bench won us game 3.
Okay.
I don't know if you like were watching in game 3. Mm-hmm. Tibbs sat everyone and our bench came on and they went on like an 8-0 run at the end while we were down by 20. They cut it to 10.
Right.
And then Brunson came on the third quarter and it was boom.
That makes sense.
The bench has definitely stepped up for sure.
Jacob says never listen to Matt Damon for financial advice. You know that movie Friendship? I really want to see that movie, but I I don't see it because it's already out in America, right? I don't see it anywhere in Australian theaters. I want to see that movie Friendship pretty badly, but it looks pretty good.
Friendship movies. Oh, this is with Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Well, have you ever watched I Think You Should Leave?
No, I have not.
With Tim Robinson?
No.
Hilarious. In my opinion, obviously you have to. Not everybody likes the comedy, but I think it's one of the funniest shows in the last decade for sure. That's like being created new, not like a running one. But I'm gonna jump into another Origins here, see if we can fill it. 7 spots remaining right now. But anyway, I don't remember what I was saying. Tim Robinson is in it. That's what I was saying. Tim Robinson is in it, and he's just hilarious, dude. Like, he just has such a creative mind, and I want to watch it. But anyway,
Yeah. Doesn't look like it's coming to Australia. I wonder why.
yeah, it's so strange how that works. How some films do and some films don't. 6 spots remaining here. Would love for you guys to come join us on the FastDraft app. You can download the FastDraft app, use the promo code LAND at sign up. We'll match your deposit up to $50. That is 10 free drafts on us. And when you finish your first contest, I'll send you my rookie report. I'll send you my season rankings completely free. And if you're a member on the Flock site, by the way, and you join, we will give you a free trade question voucher as well. Just DM me. And also, if you want to join a FastDraft group chat, DM me on Discord as well, because we've got a little group there of friends that I message pretty much every time we're jumping into a draft on the stream.
Yeah, it's been awesome with the FastDraft community on Discord. Obviously, you guys know it's a little bit of a smaller app. It's up and coming. So what they did was create a Discord, and you're trying to get into a draft. You send a couple messages, and people come through.
Yeah.
People come through and fill it up, where before it was like, dude, we're sitting here for like 20, 30 minutes trying to fill this. But like we're trying to make sure everyone gets into a draft at any point in time whenever they want for to make this experience as best as possible for you guys. So once again, join that Discord, and hell yeah, come
4
through,
spots
as we
remaining.
have 4 spots left.
Remaining here. Mike says, "Can I sue my state for $50K for not allowing me to win?" Yeah. Well,
Where you at, Mike?
hopefully you're traveling at some point.
Yeah,
I've
where are you
never
located?
actually used the turbo feature myself, but I know a lot of people have. Obviously, like when you go into a tourney, you'll see like the turbo mode here,
Let's go.
and you can decide like how many entries. Like let's say you're traveling, you can decide like you can go all the way up to 50, which is crazy. But you want to put in like 8 entries and then set your rankings, then it will draft for you. Let's say you're just traveling, you know, and you want to go around. But
It's good. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it when I go on when we go to Dallas and New York. I'm going to New York right before we go to Dallas. So I'm gonna try and see how the turbo wheel feature works, just so I can
guess
test
who
it out.
my highest rostered Origins Gamma tournament player is?
No idea.
Okay, that was fun. It's
Origins.
Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt with Washington, and you would never guess who's 2nd and 3rd. Shador Sanders, Jalen Milroe.
You'll have to see it.
It's just so easy to just throw like a random shot on a quarterback in round 3 in this specific tournament.
Okay, Gamma. Let's see mine. Mine's Dylan Gabriel and Pat Bryant.
I do like Pat.
I also have I don't even know how to say his name. Shermick Dyke.
What? Oh, DK?
DK? Is it DK?
You mean the
Did you say
guy
his
in
name?
Tennessee?
Yeah, how do you say his name?
Yeah, DK is his last name, not Dyke.
That's weird.
That's funny though.
My quarterbacks are the highest for me for sure. I have Dylan Gabriel, Jalen Milroe, and Tyler Shook all as like top 5. Let me look at my flex 4. T. Higgins is my highest. H.N. is my highest running back there with Joe Moneybag Mixon.
Oh, flex 4, yeah.
And Bucky Irving there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure Bucky Irving, Rashee Rice. Yep, those are my top 2, which is kind of crazy. You know, I look towards the bottom of the exposure as well, and like try and figure out who is my most unique player. But anyway, Bucky I have in 6 teams. Mr. Bucky Irving. We've got 2 spots remaining here. No, that
Does it
says
tell you
4,
how many
but it's actually 2
teams they have? Oh yeah. I
yeah,
have
you can
Devon
see what
Achane
teams
in
are
6.
on, and anyway.
Yeah, I have T in 8 teams. My ADP is 23. This is cool. I can view on my teams. I have T Higgins. Oh, does it? What it should do is to filter it or highlight it if you choose T Higgins. That's a nice, cool little feature we could probably add. All right, 2 more slots here, guys. Most likely will be the last one, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know, dude. I kind of been saying this all off season now, ever since he got drafted. Well, really until he got drafted. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jalen Milroe in the last couple games of the season there, and that specifically in a fast draft world where he can potentially outscore some of these rookies, these rookie wide receivers, or guys that we probably drafted higher.
Yeah.
In those scenarios there. Yours says 2. Yours says 2 spots. Mine says 4.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, that's because yours just hasn't updated.
Let me just refresh. Okay, yeah, 2 spots left. Okay, I was about to say, why hasn't mine updated?
Yeah, 2 spots. It's weird because we're in this point right now, like in the flex 4 tourney, where a guy like Rashee Rice, you'd assume if he isn't suspended, his ADP will be drastically higher than it is right now. But I just keep getting him like 4th round. I don't think he's going lower than 4th round, but pretty consistently. Like, this is the team that we drafted recently. You're in this draft actually, but Nico, Derek, Kyron, Rashee Rice, Pickens, Mason. Just threw Mason in there at the end. It's kind of like a fun what if, but he's always going in 4th round. I can't really ever get him 5th round. I guess he might have gone 5th round if it weren't for me in this one. But he's one of those names where, like, that's the type of player I'm trying to take advantage of before there's any correction.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is fair.
Also, I didn't realize they had like I guess they have like a free Flex 4 as well, which you can play for promo funds. Which also, now that I think about it, I think you can play the free one if you are in a state that doesn't allow you to deposit. So to everybody out there who's in like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Canada,
New York and stuff, yeah.
I'm pretty sure you can play in the free one for the $1,000 promo, but I could be wrong. Anyway, look, this is going to fill here in a second, but I think we will just draft offline. But we do appreciate y'all for being here with us. That is going to be the end of today's stream, and we'll be back live next week. Yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Well, if you want to jump into a draft with us, we'll wait for this to fill. We'll draft with you offline. But that is it for tonight, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Love.